Did you ever? You got your stimulus, right?
Yes, I was lucky enough to receive it.
Right, but the letter that came with it, or like a couple months after, were
Yes.
like just dripping in the jingoism instead
It
of it
was
just being like,
so
here you
weird.
go, or like
Yeah.
it was.
Hey,
It was very
get a load of
very.
this. This is America, and in America we look out for our own, and you're our own. So enjoy. This ham's on us, bub. You know, that kind of shit.
Right, because
Yeah.
because I'm used to getting like Fed loan checks.
Yeah,
that
dry
have the Statue of
ass,
Liberty
like,
on it.
Hey, God bless America. You owe us money, by the way. You know.
But only for so much longer. Because we'll get those canceled someday. Nope.
We're gonna push them
best we got
left,
was-
folks. That's
We're
what
gonna
we're gonna
push 'em
do.
left.
Any day now.
Mm-hmm. God. Oh, by the way, hi everyone.
Yeah, howdy. What a grim portent we should have some like fucking just rude ass dungeon synth going in the background at the start of this episode, or at least while I'm explaining this, where it just sounds like we're recording from inside like a fucking boggy goblin hole, you know, just somewhere weird like that.
You've been talking a lot about goblins.
You know they're
on
great.
Twitter lately.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a bisexual thing. I think you're
It
just
kind of
fully
is.
coming
Yeah.
into it.
And I mean, like, they're just fucking weird little dudes, and like, I love dungeon synth aesthetics in terms of like the big old chords played on like fucking like organs, but like bad DOS video game organs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Am I making a lick of sense here?
No, you are. Someone who went to the public school system and had old computers well into the 2000s. But yes, it is post-Christmas, but the Christmas spirit still exists here in the Psychic Dolphin Garage.
As always.
Christmas is more like it's more like a feeling. It's more like an attitude.
Christmas is like when love, tradition, perhaps even magic. And that's what Christmas is. That's what Christmas is about.
Perhaps even magic.
Perhaps even magic. You gotta put a little. You can't just say it outright. You gotta put like a little showman stank on it. You know.
Right. That is your. I think that's the goblin in you.
That's goblin-y. Yeah. That's like I'm telling like a riddle. Yeah, like goblins do.
Yeah. I feel like very specifically, bisexual boys are goblins, right?
Yes.
Like that's their thing.
Yeah.
Then,
like I'm like the like Act 2 antagonist in a, you know, shitty teen movie, but when you really get to know me, I'm actually quite cool.
Is a goblin like an elf, like a Christmas elf?
Yeah, but like kind of evil.
Right, because like we know that like Christmas
Kind of a
elf-
bastard.
Well, sort of like well, you know how like Wario is like a bad guy, but he's not evil.
Yeah, he's just like an asshole and like has poor personal hygiene.
So yes, like most bisexual guys that I know.
Oh no, he didn't.
I did go there. I'm sorry to all the bisexuals. Okay, Charlie's gonna hop on right now, according to her.
Okay. She's missing out some prime gob talk, but that's about it.
I mean, she has a goblin boyfriend.
Shit, I guess you're right.
So she probably has, you know, quite a lot of insight on
Into goblinry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Charlie. How you doing?
Hello.
It's very, very femme fatale, very like, you know, rather than answering, just like looking out the window with a long cigarette. And she was nothing but legs, and she was a spider. Also, in like actually making it into the edit, I would like to continue from let's wrap this meeting up and do like a bit where it's like, oh hey, well, you guys want to like get drinks or something, or like, you know, post meeting bullshitting.
We're doing the whole like,
hey, so what's good for lunch
whole
around
song
here?
and dance.
You know, that kind of shit.
Why?
It'd be really funny.
I mean, I'll play along. I don't understand why.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never had a meeting in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I
Nice.
worked at a Subway.
Yeah, Bo and I both worked office jobs.
Okay. I have never worked an office job. I don't know what this is. Like, I've seen
Don't
movies.
worry.
I've seen movies about office jobs.
Hey, we've all seen movies, Hotshot. No need to brag.
Yeah, I've seen a few talkies.
The only movies I know, I only know that you've seen one movie, and then I forced you to watch.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, this
Okay,
is your
please,
first
yeah.
film.
Yeah, we can hop into Christmas with a capital C whenever y'all are ready. I will never be ready, but I am prepared to walk face first onto this landmine.
We just so like I thought we were getting it done at 5, so like we just finished a few minutes ago. I have like 10 pages of notes here from Kennedy and Jack, who took notes because they realized I can't watch a movie and take notes at the same time.
Great. Good. Hopefully
your partners are
yeah, very patient people.
They're incredibly good at writing shit down.
they must love you.
Yeah, they do. I'm a good partner. Sorry, this is news to both of you.
No, I'm sorry, Charlie. I don't know if you could call yourself a good partner after subjecting them to this.
Yeah, I don't know if you can still call yourselves partners after subjecting them to this.
I didn't subject them to any. I subjected you two to this. I walked up to them and just sort of coyly said, "Does anyone want to watch a really horrifying Pureflix Christian movie?"
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
I'm cute and give good heads, so I can get what I want.
Psychic Dolphin Garage.
So,
Tis the season.
yeah, 'tis the season indeed, my dear. 'Tis the season of gifts. 'Tis a season for love. 'Tis a season for seeing the stars up above. So listen quite closely, my web-footed friends. And,
It's a
Behold-
major demographic of ours.
yeah, because it's dolphins. You know?
Dolphins.
I'm thinking anthro ducks. More like I've got a long time Twitter mutual who's not like a feathery, like a furry, but for birds. And their Sona is a duck. And if you're listening, Merry Christmas.
This was supposed to be a normal intro. The fuck?
That's normal
I
for
can't
me.
trust you to sit in front of a microphone.
That's normal for me. I'm the Joker. I go to Little Caesars and I order normal bread. All right, I'm the fucking Joker.
You wanna, I don't know, cut there and do another intro?
That would be really funny.
Give me these reins.
That would be amazing.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Psychic Dolphin Garage. My name is Dennis. He, they.
I'm Bo. He, him.
I'm Charlie, she, her, and that was boring. Boring and normal.
I am not sober right now, but I still need stability somehow. So I know that I'm tied to reality in some way or another.
Oh yeah, bud. Absolutely.
You're ruining it for me, Bo.
Just to keep you from not thinking you're in some small town in Alaska. Just running around owning a boat dealership, question mark?
Incredibly cromulent business.
That's interesting that you would mention that at all because
Yeah, it is.
I do believe that you subjected Bo and I to what I think the FBI has copped to is torture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is what they
You know.
show people at Guantanamo.
You said it. Bye, everybody.
I'm a little stoned.
This is so fucking impossibly off the rails. None of us are sober. None of us could be sober because I forced the both of you, like a Clockwork Orange, to watch the Pureflix Christian film Christmas with a capital C from 2011.
2011. I could have sworn it was later.
I could have
Wow.
sworn it was.
I'm not surprised,
It was earlier. It sits like a time capsule.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was released in 2010, December. So 2011, sorta, yeah.
Jesus, yeah. So something that really fucked me up about when is this set? Because I knew it was recent enough to be like, oh, this is a streaming thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Pureflix.
I didn't. Yeah, Pureflix, exactly. But what I didn't realize, or what really threw me off then, was the 1998 ass B-roll in the opening.
Yeah.
Like all the establishing shots were like really fucking grainy, like somebody was doing it on a fucking flip phone or something.
They might have had like low light.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I could pick on about just the cinematography.
Oh,
but,
the cinematography.
But that's just not. There's too much to go, and there's so much movie. There's 120, or there's an hour and 22 minutes worth of movie here.
It's really a breezy
To, like,
movie.
figure the fuck.
I had to take a break.
I mean, I watched it with 3 other people, so it was okay for me. But I mean, I gotta say, they definitely
made a movie.
They certainly did put some sort of digital images in a row, some sort of sequence with audio, and then you could play that back.
Yeah.
They did something.
Yeah, so it starts off with a whole bunch of like it's overhead shots that are, yes, as you said, incredibly grainy and presumably stock footage that they couldn't like pay out of pocket for the high quality license to. Like just stretched SD footage of the town of Seward, Alaska, where this was entirely filmed. So it opens on a U-Haul truck. It was not as gay as this scene. This is the gayest scene in the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 2 women who just met each other last night are moving in.
Yeah.
To this like wonderful, probably gay inclusive town in Alaska.
Yeah.
That does sound like that does actually kind of sound like a lesbian sort of thing to do, is like to move to Alaska.
That would be really nice. Unfortunately, this is not that.
That is not that.
No.
This is a town full. The first thing I noticed when it switched from like location shots to like around the town shots, everyone in this, every extra, in fact, most of the main cast, they're all Tim and Eric people.
They really are. Like that.
They're
like
fucking Tim and Eric looking weirdos.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They've all got scraggly beards, gray, like half gray, half not. There's these, like, it opens on a shot of 2 people who are basically like those Muppets who criticize everything from the stands.
Statler and Waldorf. Yeah.
Statler and Waldorf looking fuckers. One of them just scowling, and the other one just kind of wandering around, pointing at things like he can't move his arms good anymore.
Oh yeah.
No, what it was is very likely all of these extras lived in town, so that's why they like
free casting.
Probably
right.
Yeah, I want to know like what are like the like statistics of like meth labs in this this city.
Because this
is the thing, is it's okay, so we're jumping ahead a little bit, but the premise of the film in part is that like, oh, this richy rich weirdo who comes back to town after having left in some sort of like fucking Hillbilly Elegy Coming Home sequel. He's saying we're going to bring the cruise lines to this town, a town that is like filled with single family homes, a bunch of middle and upper class looking white people, and just tacky fucking tourist stores everywhere, because Seward, Alaska makes its money off of 2 things: fishing and tourism. Like this movie is premised
like
on the idea that
Alaskan
their town needs like the cruise ships to stop there so they'll have money, despite the fact that on screen you're staring at a town that clearly already has cruise ship money.
Yeah, it's like a fancy little fucking Stardew Valley town. They're doing fine.
Yeah, they're literally
like they're basically it's a town of jet ski dealership owners.
Well, it is. The thing opens, a U-Haul truck drives by the store that's having a Christmas sale, which the window indicates is selling Patagonia, as 2 people walk out carrying a bag that says Carhartt on it. Like multiple bags in their hand. They're fine. They're doing fine.
Yeah. This is the small town where all those car commercials where couples like buy each other just whole cars unannounced. This is the town where those things actually happen.
Yeah. So we've got a great shot of this town just going, place to place to place. We have like Christmas sale. Someone puts up a sign that says Jesus is the reason for the season. Another one says Merry Christmas. It's a bunch of establishing shots of,
hey, do you get it? This town likes Christmas.
Yeah. They don't just like Christmas. They like the fact that there is Christ in Christmas, which might be a clue as to the meaning of the title of the movie, Christmas with a capital C.
That's foreshadowing.
So from there, after we have established, okay, it's Alaska, they like Christmas, they say Merry Christmas to each other, we move to a scene of 2 guys doing carpentry in the town square.
Just guys being dudes.
Yeah, they're putting up a nativity scene, it becomes apparent. This is... What are these people's names? It's very hard for me to remember names.
So I referred to them as the mayor and the wizard because he looks like a wizard with his shitty little haircut and his gross little beard.
Yeah.
I called them the mayor and the pastor until they introduced another, because he was the one doing all the preaching in the movie, until they introduced another pastor in the movie, and I started calling him brother.
Well, because he's the mayor's brother, yeah.
Yeah, his name is...
The guy with the fucked up little mop.
So I'm looking through the notes here.
Dan and Cody Reed.
I could have sworn it was Greg. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is it Cody?
Oh, wait, no. Cody's the son.
Cody's the son.
No, it's...
Cody's the
I'm
son.
I'm looking for...
Gross.
It's Greg Reed. Yeah, it's Greg Reed.
Greg?
Greg.
Greg from shop class? What are you doing here? And then it turns into a porno.
Yeah, so the mayor of this town, who is the main character in the story, he is the mayor because he does a good job. He's building a nativity scene on government property like this town does every year, which is just an expression of freedom of religion. And he's sort of a cut-rate Mel Gibson, I think. I think they would have wanted that, but they probably couldn't get him.
Great value.
Like 99-cent store Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
In his Wikipedia... He kind of looks like Mitt Romney, like the photo that you used.
He does kind of look like
he
Mitt
looks
Romney.
like a dick is what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's
Like,
definitely a dick.
When we first see him at the fucking doing carpentry bullshit, like he's making faces and like making snide remarks just right off the bat. It's like, oh, this is our protagonist?
Yeah.
This guy sucks ass.
Oh, you're funny. We're building a platform for the town Christmas display. You might remember it. Huh? I don't know, we just figured after 5 decades the Mother of God deserved a proper place to kneel.
It's only right.
Yeah, he sucks ass. He seems smarmy. Like, he's got a lot of smarm.
Oh,
He's
he's
an absolute
dripping
smarmy
smarm,
Christian
yeah.
piece of shit. Now, I want to note, my partners Kennedy and Jack noted that he also seems like maybe a cut-rate Ray Weiss and also possibly Papa John.
I do see Ray Weiss. I don't see Papa John. Ray Weiss, for y'all who don't know, also a Tim and Eric person, but mostly known as for fucking Leland Palmer in Twin Peaks.
I'm seeing Papa John. I looked up Papa John. I'm seeing it. It's not the same, but in terms of like the energy and sweat coming off that man, that's Papa John.
Yes. Grease.
The way you could like use him
garlic
to
grease.
that garlic grease. The way you could use him to like fuel like 18th century lamp oil. Yeah.
He is the primary
his job.
economic driver of this town. They just pump him for oil.
Yeah, it used to be whaling and now it's him.
Well, it's more fuel efficient than blubber, they found out. And better nutritionally, weirdly enough.
Oh, wow. Isn't that nice?
Ew.
They're building a nativity scene when who shows up but a guy named Mitch Bright,
Mitch Bright.
who is, I'm going to just say, consistently right in this movie about a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a Reddit atheist. Like, he's kind of a fedora guy, but he's not wrong, really, ever. He's just smug. That's his greatest crime.
He is a Baldwin, his other greatest
Yes,
crime.
exactly.
Daniel Baldwin.
I made some good investments, but I miss the old town. I thought maybe I'd come back and check out the old place, see some of my old friends.
The lesser Baldwin can be found in the 2E Monster Manual. It's should be good for adventurers of level like 8 to 11 if you're stretching it. So, a pretty formidable beast.
I have a feeling I know why they went with Daniel Baldwin, because typically Stephen Baldwin is the one who does these things, because
He's way more Christian.
All of the Baldwins want to stand in like stark contrast to Alec, who is, I believe, still Catholic and obviously the most successful, but also the most liberal.
That's a weird square to circle. Wow, yeah.
Right, but yeah, Stephen Baldwin, after his like actual movie career fizzled, started doing a lot of these Christian films. But I think they went with Daniel because he looks the most like Alec, and he's supposed to be like this Alec sort of like
He's supposed
Alec
to be
Baldwin
lib
character.
Jack Donaghy.
Yeah,
Which is really funny also, now that I say that out loud. Lib Jack Donaghy. Lemon, I've got a meeting with the Bidens at 11 o'clock. Which tie should I wear? He's like the same guy, but just...
What's Jack Donaghy in?
30 Rock. He's the
Okay.
producer guy.
That's
in
Alec
30
Baldwin's
Rock.
character.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, he's absolutely the same character. I have not seen 30 Rock, but I'm sitting there staring at him, seeing the 30 Rock character.
Yeah.
Do you think Daniel Baldwin is like doing this as like a fuck you to Alec? But like, I'm gonna be shitty liberal. Like, this is what he thinks Alec Baldwin is?
That's really Oedipal, and I'm into it.
No, yeah,
Don't
no.
take that out of context.
all the other Baldwins are, I believe, quite jealous of Alec's, career.
Rightfully so.
They look like him.
They
They
shot a lot of great films.
They act about as well as him, and he's not really all that great in anything. He's just a terrible person, it seems like.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just
and
a
the thing
guess.
is, he was like, I don't think I've like watched enough things with Daniel Baldwin in it, but he was acting like Jack Donaghy and also sounding a little bit like Alec. I don't know if their voices are already similar.
Probably.
They're pretty similar. Yeah.
Okay, because like Stephen Baldwin doesn't really sound that much like Alec in my mind, but maybe.
And
I
in
don't know.
following the theme of all the characters in this movie, he is a cut rate Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
A lesser Baldwin.
Right.
Which travel in packs of 2d6 in the lower planes.
So he's standing here. He walks up to the nativity scene they're building to be like, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, whoa, you're back. Because he's been out of town, so I guess.
Since like high school, I think is the implication.
The implication,
Like
well,
college?
it becomes weird later, which we'll get to then. But this scene implies that, yes, he's been gone since like high school. They say that they'd recently had their 20-year reunion. So it's like right around then. Or, which I'd like to point out, all of these people then, that means they're like 35, maybe 40, like somewhere in there.
And they're looking fucking
Again,
rough.
They look like they're in their
again
50s, easy.
well, because they all are.
Yeah, they are.
But I have to ask, like, then again, what's the meth situation? Especially if once we start talking a little bit more about the character of Greg. Because
Greg. Let's get to Greg.
I have some thoughts.
Yeah. So yeah, they discuss the fact that he's been gone for a while, and they're welcoming him back, and he seems a little put off by their nativity scene, which
and also the fact that they're like being dicks to him.
yeah, they are kind of just being dicks. Like something happened between them, and they haven't talked about it since.
Yeah.
Which, what do you want to say about Greg before I segue into that?
No, yeah, I think Greg is the next section. Yeah, just because he's the other guy there, and he.
Right.
Among this trio of men, this sour workingman and this equally just cold and shitty businessman, is this just fucking weird little wizard dude who it turns out is like a homophobe and a bigot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
This is not going to spoil anything of the story.
Oh yeah, God forbid.
God forbid. But I was like, why is this guy such a bad actor? Like he's acting like he's a stand-up.
Well,
Turns out he's a stand-up. I didn't realize this until the post-credit scene. The origin of the song was from a stand-up bit that he did. Why did I mention song? Oh, because this movie is based off of a song.
Christmas with a capital C is the name of a song by the Christian band Go Fish.
It's called Christmas with a capital C.
And the name Go Fish is inspired by Brad Stein, the actor who plays Greg's stand-up comedy routine. It's just this perfect circle of shit.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible for so many reasons.
And not only that, the reason...
And at some point he does... Oh, I was going to say, at some point, Brad Stein's character, Greg Reed, says something verbatim from this stand-up set.
Really? Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yes. Well, there's a scene where he's having like a little bit of a breakdown in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Which I have another thing to mention
gonna
about
get
that
to that
coffee shop
scene.
once we get to it. But
Yes.
He's
yeah, it's just
neurodivergent
ridiculous.
coded, we should say.
So here's the thing: is he's neurodivergent coded, and the reason why that is, that I think, is during the later scene, which is I was actually going to wait till this scene to bring this up, but the scene where they do the play for the son and the friend with the daughter about like the angels and Mary, like he's doing straight up Robin Williams in that scene. Like
Yes,
his
and
stand-up
that's what I
comedy.
eventually realized too.
His stand-up
is he's
comedy
just
is a
trying. Yeah.
His only two inspirations, which he has perfectly blended into a weird Christian bigot comedy routine, is Robin Williams and Dennis Leary.
Oh God,
He looks kind of like Dennis Leary. He acts like Robin Williams.
That is so sad. You're so right.
I will treat you to a clip of both his stand-up comedy and the scenes in which he's doing Robin Williams in this movie when we get to those scenes.
what a treat.
So
let's continue with
they
the
kind of
plot
exchange
points.
barbs, and then Rich Boy drives off.
Yeah, and this is when you realize, okay, the main character of the movie is kind of the dick.
Yeah, yeah. Also, his main henchman, his brother, the wizard, also kind of a dick. We follow them home. Turns out the daughter's a dick. The wife is a dick. Everyone in this small town, this quaint little fucking Alaska town, they're just fucking terrible people to each other.
Yeah.
I thought his son was supposed to be gay. Like, I thought he was going to come out to be gay.
Let's discuss the son. Yes. Okay, so...
Yeah, specifically the scene where he and the girl are introduced.
Yeah, so before we go home, we are cut over to a skiing hill where the son and the girl are just talking about skiing.
Pretty good, huh?
Not bad. Not a winning time, but...
Want me to time you?
No, I don't want to hold you up.
I can wait.
I'm just taking it easy today.
Like, they're timing each other, apparently. There's really not much going on in this scene. It's
That
just to
whole
indicate to
conversation
you.
washed right over the smoothness of my brain.
In this scene, the important thing to remember of this scene is she's holding a stopwatch, and she also mentions that, like, I believe this is the scene where she mentions she reads vampire books.
Yeah.
By which I assume they mean Twilight.
Yeah.
And
timely reference.
Just, yeah, it's it's 2010, so yeah, absolutely. It's probably when those movies were coming out. You gotta SEO this shit, or it's not gonna get on the top charts
of Pureflix.
Regardless, I think the purpose of this scene is to indicate that the son is kind of a pretty boy dork, and this girl is, I think she's meant to be alternative. Because she's got a lot of, like, eyeliner
she's supposed
on,
to be, like,
and she's got, like, an emo haircut.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, just heavy swept bangs. Yeah, she's scene coded. Yeah, she's a scene kid.
She's slut coded.
Yeah, slut coded.
Slut coded.
That's the eyeliner part.
Yeah, she's sort of like in the beginning of this film in a number of scenes, like being a predator to this dorky boy who's just like, I don't want feminine wiles around me. What is this? Are you following me? So yeah, they're on a skiing slope. Not much is introduced. Girl is kind of seen, and this kid who is going to be revealed in the next cut. Of note, the cuts in this movie are very fast. This movie goes through scenes.
Well, yeah,
and yet
the intro
seems like it lasts forever.
We're 4 minutes in right now. Like, all we've covered is 4 minutes.
Yeah.
At 4.5 minutes, we go into their house. Yes. So, cut right, Mel Gibson walks into the home, hugs his daughter, and we get to meet his wife. Oh, the wife tops the mayor in the kitchen. And his wife says, hey, can you help me set the table?
Oh, I am so glad you're home.
Oh.
Can you help set the table?
I have people who do that for me.
What happened?
What do you mean?
You only joke about your lack of actual power when you've had a run-in at work.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Just eviscerates this poor man. Yeah. Like, he's a dick, but, like, that made me sympathize for him.
Also, his work is being the mayor and running a boat and airplane tour guide service. Like,
I'm not doing particularly well at it either.
Right? Like what kind of like problems do you have in either of those jobs? Where like in both of those jobs, just a bunch of people's lives are in your hands. Like, what ongoing problem is this guy having?
What a fucking weirdo. Yeah. It really just nails in his character that, he's got a complex about being a small-town mayor, and he cannot shut the fuck up about his rival guy, who at this point hasn't really even said much to him. He just rolled into town, said hi, and then, the mayor and the wizard, like, spent, like, 20 minutes berating him.
Yeah, it's like, this guy is one of the most powerful people in town, and this scene merely serves to establish that he has a family, he doesn't feel like he has any power, and he feels persecuted all the time.
Yeah, his family hates him for being a whiny sad sack.
Yeah, and also, this is the first scene of the movie set at a table, which I'm going to tell you, I don't know how many scenes are in the movie, but I counted. There were 19 scenes in this, 19 independent clips of film set entirely around tables.
Oh, God, you're right. Yeah.
Fucking 19.
It's like a Sorkin walk.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they spent a lot of money on one of those, like, really good tripods that gets really low. The legs kind of bow out even farther.
Yeah.
So they can get those nice low shots. And they're like, well, we gotta
use it.
Now.
Yeah. We rented this from the local high school's film department. We gotta use this.
We get one of the first of many scenes where the cameraman is basically just sitting at the table with them as they talk over it.
Or woman.
You really
there was no camera woman.
You really think a Christian film production set will let a woman near a camera?
No, absolutely not.
No.
You gotta get your uterus all over the camera buttons.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That is Eve's curse, was that she was not supposed to hold the fucking apple of knowledge, which was like an iPhone. Very, very clever
The apple of knowledge. That's so good.
Done by a million fucking boomer comics. Anyway, so how does this scene wrap up? Because I, honest to God, don't remember how half the scenes in this movie end.
A lot of the scenes wrap up either abruptly, like not a very good cut, or if I recall, they like have a way to transition that's very, very like stiff.
Well, so this scene is specifically like we all sit down at the table where we've entered our table scene, which involves the son sitting down reading a book, and the mom is like, "What's
Like
the
some
problem?"
sort of lib, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "All the girls are reading these vampire books.
I don't get it."
Girls, am I right?
Yeah, so they have a
family.
So we have a family moment, and well, specifically, so I counted 7 times in this movie where they're sort of at home with the mom, because the mom is rarely anywhere but home
loving the data.
in the kitchen. A few times later on, she gets a point, but she diffuses the situation right as it starts to get tense, because the dad starts kind of ribbing the son about liking girls and shit.
Yeah, I pointed that out in my notes. He's even a dick to his son.
Listen, your mom read all those books. I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, he's a dick to his son, and the mom's response is to say,
"Can we please find something to thank God for?"
Which,
yeah,
it's like she's just
Why
like,
don't we?
Let's just pretend like we like each other, please, for God's sake.
So God doesn't get mad at us.
And more specifically, the scene ends. So the transition you're looking for is the girl reminds you that she's going to be playing the angel in like the church pageant they're putting on about Christmas.
Of course, the church pageant.
At which point the tinkly flute music begins to swell, and they just cut to a shot of the Alaskan sea and mountains. And that's what we got. We're at the water side, where the dad and son are now, I presume, the next day.
Just hanging out like you do.
Yeah, they're hanging out. They're hanging out.
See,
driving
that's
the
his real number one job as the mayor, is just hanging out with his boy.
He's just driving the ski-doo around.
His son, who he cannot stand to be around, and also takes out to the lake sometimes.
I don't think we need to spend much time on this scene because it's literally just the son explaining his girl problems.
It's the same thing as the end of the last scene. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little more fleshed out because instead, like in the last scene, his mom doesn't really let the son talk about it. It's just like, let's pray to God. In this scene, his dad sort of interrupts his son talking about his feelings to be like, hey, let me tell you about like how I met your mom. And the main important thing in this scene is he competed with Mitch, the guy who rolled into town.
The Baldwin.
Conrad Mel Gibson was fighting Baldwin over the wife of
the mayor.
Of the mayor. And, he basically looks to his son and is like, hey, competition is cool, because his son's trying to talk about like, oh, this girl wants to compete with me in the skiing track, and she's kind of scene coded, and I don't know, it feels weird to compete like that. And his dad basically explains everything is a competition. I think this is our first pure ideology scene.
Yeah.
In which he's like, everything is competition.
Right.
I was rubbing my nose and pulling my shirt at this point.
Yes.
The fighting over a girl thing is very and explicitly saying that's what it is I don't know, something very Christian patriarchal about it.
Oh yeah, she is a prize.
She's a prize
to
to
won.
win.
Yeah. The fair maiden must be rescued from the those outside Christendom.
Oh, I don't remember at what point, but it does remind me that the conversation between Dan and his wife at some point, they call the Baldwin flamboyant.
Oh yeah, that was weird. Because he's not. He's a very drab, sad guy.
He's not. The wizard is flamboyant.
The wizard is flamboyant.
He pretends to be a girl later in this movie.
But that's an easy way to say that at some point, because he was in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, the San Francisco comment was very pointed.
Yeah, he probably did some gay shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a sec, too.
We will. And by a sec, I don't know how long this movie really crawls.
Yeah,
despite
really
how many...
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Well, I'll just say about the structure of this movie, it's very reminiscent of the ideological and emotional experience of these, like, oppressed feeling conservative boomers who have all the control. They establish a problem, which is this guy comes back into town and doesn't quite agree with them on this whole Christian on government property thing, which they haven't really fully established yet, but they've mentioned it. It will turn out that most people don't seem to agree with them. It isn't threatening them.
And also, like, none of it matters.
Every sequence between these problems they establish is just them sitting around a table complaining about that people would make them deal with this.
That's perfect, yeah.
At which point they then resolve it, if they even do that, and move on to a new thing.
I'm glad we've got a dichotomous tree for the movie now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's real fucked and real silly.
This scene on a, you know, it's like seaside or riverside with a ski-doo. They're loading it into the truck. The dad's saying, I competed for your mom, but hey, I won. Mitch lost.
You had a high school rival?
Yeah. Why? What's so unusual about that?
Just seems like everybody likes you.
You need to go to some city council meetings.
And just to be sure you didn't think they were going to learn anything, the son is like, hey, my problems are, I think, worse than yours. And the dad's like, they can't
Shut
be
up,
worse.
kid. Yeah.
My situation's a lot different than yours. Yours seems a lot easier.
Of course yours is worse. How is yours worse?
Mine's a girl.
My problems are about a girl. And this
Yeah.
guy's wearing his like wraparound
Whoa.
sunglasses like he's doing a truck rant. And
Ugh.
I hate these sunglasses. They make him look even more of a dick than, I mean, they're the right sunglasses for him.
Yeah, they really are. So, that brings us to the coffee shop, yeah?
Yeah.
So, I think this is his heel turn, the heel turn for the lesser Baldwin, right?
Yes.
Because this is where he's like, all right, they
Right.
want me to be a smarmy atheist fuck? I guess I'll be a smarmy atheist fuck. And he turns into me from high school when he orders a soy latte.
Soy Americano.
Soy
No.
Americano, yes.
Here's this is the thing that like got me the most, because like clearly they're trying to point out that he's like some twee liberal guy. So he orders an Americano with soy. What does that mean? There's no milk.
He's
in
soy.
There's no milk in an Americano, so the barista would have to be like, would you like room for that? You don't, like, what a rude person to just be like, I need soy in it.
Yeah.
No.
You know, for a bunch of conservatives who always complain about the liberal adventures they hear in coffee shops, they certainly have not been in a coffee shop.
No.
Or it's implied that this guy thinks they're all small town hicks who are supposed to serve him, and he's like, I'm not going to pour my own goddamn soy in my Americano with room. You're going to pour it in there.
But like an Americano is supposed to sound like a very fancy drink.
know,
it's
it's just-
not. It's just espresso and
Yeah,
water.
it's just diluted espresso, so
Like,
it becomes coffee.
Most people drink Americanos because they want fresh coffee and not like the
That's been
yucky
sitting
coffee
in a
that's
fucking
been sitting
thing.
in
Yeah.
that like hot
Yeah.
plate. Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah, it's
that
functionally just a pour over. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're delicious. It's like a good
It's
fresh
just
cup of
not
coffee.
like, oh, this is your yardstick for fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's about the same price anyway.
and I'd like to point out, they do appear to have soy. He gets what he wants, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, they have soy milk. Why do you think they have soy milk? Oh, it's because they have a bunch of fucking cruises coming in.
Yeah, and liberals, and it, like there's a diversity of opinion in this town, which is why they only show us at most one church's worth of people in this town of, they say, 4,000.
Yeah,
Right.
and the town too. Like
Right.
a lot of like the major players are depicted as liberals. I guess we'll get to that when we talk about the
we will get
city
there.
council. But
Yes.
yeah,
We will get there.
Lactose intolerance is like something to make fun of.
You gotta make fun of them. They don't drink lactose. That's fucking funny.
yeah, it's weird. Fucking freaks.
No lactose.
No, we
Yeah,
love you.
I'm a real man. I sit through my IBS all day.
Hey,
Yeah.
IBS is like a distinct comorbidity with hot girl. So you're well on your way, Dennis. All the baddies I know, at least, have IBS of some kind or another.
Ew. That's really bad.
It happens, but all right.
And it's unfortunate. Anyway, what about this fucking coffee shop?
That's it. That's all it was for, was to introduce the idea that he's a soy liberal.
Right.
To which we immediately cut to the opposite of a soy liberal. It is the wizard and the mayor. And the wizard is doing a truck rant, standing next to a boat, which says like Reed Tours or something on it, because that's their last name. And in addition to being the mayor, which
they're doing a tour boat.
Jack pointed out it's probably not a paid position in a town of 4,000 people. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
You're not a real small town man unless you have 5 jobs.
Yeah, he does have like 5 jobs. He gives tours on boats. He gives tours on planes. He's the mayor. He does most of the simple construction work for the city.
In reality, I feel like he would just like do Lyft and Uber and probably DoorDash. Also for like tourists, in addition to being the mayor.
I have a question actually. Do you think DoorDash and Uber and Grubhub like deliver to boats now on cruise ships and shit?
Probably.
If they're docked.
Well, getting on might be weird.
That's what I mean. Is like has like Grubhub partnered with cruise ships to be like, send a concierge?
Yeah, if they do, it's they get the concierge to go to the dock to pick up the food.
That's gross.
I hope that doesn't exist, because that's a level of like holy shit, that I don't want to exist.
Like we're never getting over COVID.
Not only are we never getting over COVID, but just the decadence of both being on a cruise ship that has like unlimited soft serve and pizza at any time of day, and being like, I'm gonna order a local dish from the Grubhub.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck. Can I say what the truck rant is real quick?
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah, because it's homophobic.
It is. I didn't notice that part.
Well, he does he does a little voice.
He does his he's
his
slipping into
voice.
his Robin Williams voice, which is similar to a liberal voice, but less
Yeah.
a little less girly, I think.
It's Robin Williams. No, in retrospect, that absolutely makes sense that it's Robin Williams.
He's slipping into
That
his...
is the one spoiler for this movie that I would hate to spoil someone on, is that if you don't, it will click later that it's a Robin Williams impression.
But yeah, he's slipping into his Robin Williams impression, because that's his stand-up persona from the video they show. But so he's slipping into that a little bit, pretended to be a liberal, but the main point that he makes in his sort of like out of doors truck rant, because that's literally what it is, he's just complaining about the concept that people wouldn't want you to like do nativity scenes in Christmas, and that people wouldn't think Merry Christmas is a worthwhile thing to say. And he mentions
Christmas is an awesome time of year, am I right? No, really, I mean, think about it. This is the only time of year the entire world has this like shared experience of peace and hope for the future, and strangers are loving each other.
Which is
not true.
That's like not even true in America.
Yeah, dude.
People have to work.
Okay, I'll spoil it. Later on in the movie, he says he reiterates this point, but instead says like 98% of America. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, that number went down tragically over the last like 30 minutes.
Yeah, what happened to all those people? Are they okay?
Oh, I found another note. We also called the mayor in this movie cut rate Rob Lowe.
I see that. I absolutely see that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He is the conservative Rob Lowe. He would not drink soy or be Rob Lowe, but he is
Rob Lowe
absent
is
his circumstances.
I mean, Rob Lowe is a conservative.
Oh, really?
Is he? Wow, that sucks.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know what he's like in real life. I just meant the one character he plays on TV. Though I guess he probably kills that character so good because he hates them.
Yeah.
He's in the most lib shit I've ever seen. Like that's all he's in.
He's a very much like a he's definitely a neocon, but he's but sort of like how John McCain's daughter is like okay with gay people. Yeah, like that kind of a conservative.
Specific pull. I hate it.
But yeah, that's the kind of conservative Rob Lowe is.
That's a bummer.
That's like he's still on regular TV because he's conservative, but not that conservative.
Well, good for him. I hope his career continues lustrously.
Yeah. So after this scene, the mayor is just gassing up his Reed Adventures tour boat at the boat gas station, while the wizard complains about how people don't understand the magic of Christmas as a worldwide phenomenon.
Wizard.
Yeah. So, we cut to immediately the next scene, which is the second scene we have where everyone's around the kitchen table at home, because there's a lot of family shots in this movie.
A lot of tables, a lot of family.
A lot of really
family
dark
tables.
rooms and not enough lights.
But
So
someone
everyone's
else is
looking
here.
spooky.
Yes, everyone is looking spooky. And there is someone spooky here, in fact. There is an atheist in the room.
Da, da, da.
Mitch is over.
Mitch.
And you know there's going to be tension because they just talked about how they competed over that hot MILF in the room.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Who like is just the most off-putting person.
She's just a regular lady. Yeah.
Her
and that's why
hair
she's really off-putting.
was so bad in this entire like no one like I feel like they didn't have like hair and makeup, so everyone
I
had
don't
to
think
do
they
it
did.
Yeah, everyone
Probably
had to do
not.
it for themselves, which is why all the men probably look greasy as shit. But yeah, she probably had to do her own hair because it's like, well, that's not good.
Oh yeah, well the wizard's hair is just his standard long hair. In fact, it was actually longer in this movie.
Fucked up looking.
Well, it was longer in this movie than any of the stand-up scenes at the end. So it's like he grew it out for this film.
Which is again why I was like, what's the meth situation here?
I don't know. I think the mayor did a fine job on his hair.
No,
He looks
yeah.
like a guy. Yeah, again, just a normal fucking vaguely Tim and Eric Ray Wise ass guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is
Not Ray Wise. Fucking.
I have this like just still on him, and his face is like 5 different colors.
Yeah.
They did not do makeup.
No, in 3 or 4 scenes, Kennedy explicitly wrote in their notes, is the mayor getting tanner through this movie? As they just do shots outside in the snow? And I think the answer is yes. He appears to get tanner through the movie sometimes.
Yeah.
Which will happen if you're in the snow lot.
Yeah.
So what would?
What we have written down here is that it's dinner and everyone has just left. Baldwin is dressed up in his coat. He's about to leave. And I wrote down here there are lots of extras in this movie. They're all just out of frame having dinner.
It sounded like a cafeteria.
They introduce a scene where they're like, everyone has just left from our great dinner together, and the only new person in this scene around this table is Baldwin. And I'm like, couldn't have had a scene where like 5 or 6 people leave, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Just like kind of shuffle out. That you could have reused other fucking extras for that too.
Yeah, no one was gonna remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically they're standing around the table, everyone's left, and Baldwin makes a great point about tolerance being important and part of America.
There is a surprising amount of hocus pocus here.
Oh, you mean, what, native religion?
I mean Christianity.
Well, it seems I recall you competing with Dan for president of the youth group back in the day.
Well, there isn't much I wouldn't compete with Dan about, as you well know.
So, that was an act?
No, not an act. Look, if you had an opportunity to travel the world as I have, you would know that American culture is not limited to this small town bubble that you live in. America is vast and diverse and loving, peaceful, tolerant.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to understand what you're implying.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to become sort of a liberal straw man to report on this movie.
No,
because
please do.
like,
yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah, that like he keeps making, like, if you believe in America, in the universe of this movie, Baldwin continuously makes good points that like America is a secular place. We have a lot of tolerance, and that's an important feature. And then casually drops that, hey, you the mayor, you just basically constantly run unopposed. That's the only reason you're the mayor. Maybe I could throw my hat in the ring. So they just set up Chekhov's ballot.
Again, smugly about it. He's got to be smug.
Yeah, every single character is smarmy. It's just one of them is performative liberal smarm, and the other is like small town conservative. I don't know anything outside of my own 2 eyes and this skull smarm.
Mm-hmm. He's like a big pit bull. But not like a nice one.
Yeah.
Pit bulls are way better than them.
Yeah.
Oh, but because this takes place in Alaska, that reminds me of Sarah Palin and that whole, like, what's the difference between a pit bull and a hockey mom?
I love those hockey moms. You know, they say the difference between a hockey mom and a pit bull? Lipstick.
Hockey mom wears lipstick.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for bringing up that memory.
Yeah, glad I could. All right. So that is the scene then, yes, where he is like unenthusiastic about being a villain, but just kind of smugs his way into it.
Yeah.
So then, now we're at the coffee shop. So first of all, the wizard walks in and like, it's like he's gonna pull a gun on the waitress.
Yeah. No, there were like multiple points in this movie where we said we're gonna pull, where we made gun banging noises after they pull something out of their jacket.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Like, there is something in my jacket energy. You have to come with me. That's all I had on that one. Just the wizard becomes more and more deranged.
We wrote down Pastor Incels on Coffee Girl, quote, maybe I'll come, end quote.
Maybe I'll come.
Yeah, I'll probably come.
Yeah, he basically says, hey, there's a Christmas pageant going on, and we all love Christmas. And then he suddenly immediately turns into, like, a weird incel who's like, maybe you could go with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be there. You can be there.
About girls.
You ought to come. I mean, I'll be there. I know the angel. So, maybe she could magically make a chair appear next to me.
Here's the thing, though. Like, this is a small town of 4,000 people. He already is married to this woman. Like, in reality.
Yeah.
Like, and it's an abusive relationship, and he's, like, emotionally manipulative.
The actor is actually?
No. That's what
but just in the fiction of this, that would make sense.
That would make
as opposed to what we got.
Yeah, instead of him sort of like, or they've dated before, and she's like, "Can you stop?" Because
I think the relation. So the thing we wrote down about this guy, I believe, in the next scene, because it became clear to us. Mm-hmm. He's doing the "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" relationship with the waitress.
You're so right.
Yeah, this is Charlie hitting on the waitress, and It's Always Sunny, but how it happens in real life, and that is the dynamic they have.
Really
She's
sad.
just there. He's just always coming in, and in a scene coming up, he will literally be standing on a chair in there, screaming about Christmas in a very like It's Always Sunny scene.
Christmas anymore. It's Always Sunny. Wow.
So yeah, the only point of this scene appears to be I think there's three types of scenes in this movie. There is a problem is established, a character trait is established, or we are complaining about either of those other two things.
Oh God, he is. I'm watching his face in motion. He is clearly not ready for the screen because he is like his face is playing for the back of the audience. Like
highly recommend again watching
like,
this movie because it's incredibly fucked up. Like
I liked how emotive he was. Like it's just not. It just doesn't fit.
No,
with
it's like a Greek tragedy. How much his face is moving.
It's like a bad PS2 game where the graphics are shitty, so they had to really oversell it.
Yeah,
Oh
very
my
Jack
God.
and Daxter.
I literally thought of the PS2 game Indigo Children while watching this movie. just like shots of people sitting around tables, and then suddenly it splits into two screens, and a cop walks in, and you have to sneak into the bathroom while you watch the cop. And it's a wonderful game, actually.
This
really
movie wanted me to
things, but
make
like,
me go somewhere where I wasn't watching it. I tell you that.
Let's just say this town's going to indigo to the polls and vote for Jesus or not. It's the off-screen sequence is the sequence in the. Did you read the Poisonwood Bible?
No.
Okay, well, it's Christian mission to Africa.
Yes, I've heard of this. Yeah,
the Price family. Nathan Price is the ridiculous preacher. They're trying to introduce like Christianity and God and, and democracy and American values to these backward Africans in the I don't remember where, the Congo. And they're basically at some point the group they're staying with is like, you know what? Okay, you want us to believe in this Jesus fellow? Then we're gonna do what we're gonna do a vote, as you have also explained to us we should do, and vote on whether or not we like Jesus. And Jesus, Kennedy's gonna kill me if I get this wrong, but I believe Jesus loses resoundingly. Because I don't know how else that would have happened, because that's what the book is about. But
he's a loser. He's a failure. He didn't do much for me these days. He's dead. Fuck him.
He died for my sins, but I'm still doing them. What's gonna happen next? I do so many sins. I have the best sins.
My God.
This is the hottest content of 2017 right here, y'all.
There will be a Donald Trump moment later. We will get to that. So here's the thing. Off screen of this movie is an election about whether or not Jesus is cool and Christmas should celebrate him.
This is the point in which the Baldwin files the formal complaint about the nativity scene.
This is when he does his dirty do, and
there is
figures it out.
There is one scene we missed. Which I think is notable.
Which one is this?
Oh, also at the very end of that sequence with the waitress, she literally, like in the last 4 frames or so before it cuts, her face begins to fall into a grimace. And it's a very, it's a perfect comedic cut for what just happened, but it is not what they meant to do.
Oh, I just saw it.
So, we're back on the mountainside where Kid and Girl met. But this time it's Kid,
Beloved
Mayor,
characters,
and...
Kid and Girl.
Yeah. They're really fleshed out characters. I love them. Coach walks up to Mayor and says, "Hey, your son's getting faster every year." And the mayor is like, "That's what I like to hear."
Your son's getting faster every day. That's what I like to hear.
He's really bouncy.
Yeah, they're all really bouncy. We wrote in our notes, pedo code, ? Because we just do not like the relationship either of these two people have and the way that they're talking with this child around.
It's real creepy.
Like if I could strip the soft springtime horns out of the background, I think it would be a really uncomfortable scene with longer pauses than are warranted.
Put in some longer pauses and a low ambient drone, really make it fucking freaky. Imply some horrible small town shit.
Put a dark filter over it to make it look just really scary.
Your son's getting faster and faster this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And the scene ends with a girl walking up past them and trying to look at Kid, and Kid saying to Mayor,
"Hey, Dad, can we go? I'll be late for school."
In a way that I thought meant that he didn't like this girl or want to be around her, and she keeps showing up places that he is, because he will say later on, "Why do you keep showing up where I am? Are you following me?"
Kid's got some severe undiagnosed something. He's scared.
He's some paranoia. It's it keeps coming off as he's gay, but I think what it was supposed to be, it was like he's so Christian that like the idea of courting a girls would be bad. Like that's sinful.
Yeah.
Because that might lead to sex in the snow.
That's true. He is probably thinking he's actively sinning because she keeps looking at him. And keep in mind, she's, as you said, slut-coded. She wears, like, rouge and makeup.
She's got, like, you know, fucking... Yeah, she's got Gur plushies all over her fucking checkered sheets.
Oh, she absolutely does.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is an Invader Zim, Inuyasha, fucking Yaoi Paddle-ass girl.
Let's just go all the way to Anchorage to the one manga store that they have in Anchorage.
Yeah. She has to take a fishing boat.
Once per year, when the snow finally melts, in the 1 week that I have before it comes back, I take the 4-day trek to Anchorage Comics and Cards.
Anime Bomb Anchorage.
Poor dear.
Yeah,
but it's so bad. But no, I do remember. I recall because I was once a very pious and devout Catholic, as I still am.
Of course. As we all are on the Lord's show.
But it was said that like even thinking about sex with another person would be sinful, and you do have to go to confession for that. I know Catholic and these like evangelicals not quite the same. In many ways, the evangelicals are much worse. So I can imagine that I could extrapolate that like probably since he's not married, if he thinks anything sexy about her, that's like, you know, he might as well have just had sex with her. She might as well be pregnant.
Well, so I just want to say, though, from our perspective, just being, like, queer and thinking these people are, like, normal and reasonable people, which is not a fair assumption, but they're also still kids, so I'm just going to give it the chance. Like,
yeah, they might just be awkward kids. You know, this is easy to grow out of. Yeah.
Well, but also what we're seeing there is, like, here's this alt Invader Zim girl who's, like...
Gaia Online.
Yeah, like she's doing all this stuff, and this kid is just like, "Are you following me? You're weird. Get away from me!" Like he's doing like childhood, like ew, girls have cooties shit. And at one point, I paused the movie just to tell everyone that like I don't know how old this kid's supposed to be, like in high school or something, I guess. But like this kid has like the perfect like emo scene haircut, always under a beanie. Is just like he looks like he's going to be like a TikTok femboy in like 4 years.
Well,
and he has no interest in this girl because he wants to do femboy shit.
Well, I was saying he's Dean Venture.
Yeah, he is Dean Venture. Holy shit.
He's femboy Dean Venture.
He's femboy Dean Venture. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and just
what this
his
kid's
dad's
up to nowadays. Like
yeah,
as
just
an
like
actor.
Dean Venture. The mayor absolutely has several dozen clones of this kid in the basement so that he can just kill him off whenever he sins to ensure he gets into heaven. Start a new one from just before, making a better choice.
Startlingly plausible.
This is absolutely everyone in this town has bodies somewhere, but like not the bodies you expect. Yeah. We're 15 minutes into the movie.
Oh, he's a hottie
Just so you know.
I feel like Civvy right now. This is hell.
What?
You know, the fucking YouTuber. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Tell me about the next scene, arguably the only scene we've had so far where any plot is established.
Sorry, what?
Hold on. I'm eating food on the microphone.
Okay, yeah, don't do that, please.
Right, no, I'm gonna tell
This is Chugi. This is Chugi, what we're doing here.
No, I'm so... at this
chewing bow, it's pronounced chewing.
Oh, hush you.
So this is when the secretary of the mayor says, "Hey, we can't put up the nativity scene because the Baldwin filed a complaint."
The lesser Baldwin is going to sue us. Yeah.
Filed an official injunction.
This secretary is definitely the actual mayor secretary. She is frazzled. She is uncomfortable in front of the camera. She's sweating bullets. Like,
that's such a good point.
She is so scared that like her emotions are wildly moving because she's like happy.
It's so weird.
She's like happy Isabel to hand him. By way of like I, Tanya.
Yeah. That's a very good pull.
She literally does look like a character who just got pulled straight out of Parks and Rec and planted in this movie.
And was not expecting it.
Yeah,
because she
just woke up on this set and was like, what? And they're like, turn to the camera, smile.
There's someone with a gun off right next to the director.
Do a little nod and say, when I say,
who filed this complaint? The Grinch?
You go,
Mitch Bright.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
also the stuffed bear in the city hall that looks like,
yeah, they just have a giant.
Well, this
white
is definitely
grizzly.
the thing is this is not City Hall.
Uh-huh.
Like this is clearly
Or
some
like
travel
some
agency.
Douches. Yeah.
No, there's pamphlets on the wall. I'm looking at the scene right now. This is a travel agency.
It's travel agency
like,
for sure. Jesus,
Oh, God,
you're so
this
right.
is
well,
not
let me look at the books in the background. They're like,
Oh, God, yes, please.
Oh, it's too blurry. I can't see.
Oh.
But yeah, no, this is definitely some travel agency.
Yeah, so what's happened is Liberal Mitch has filed an injunction to get the nativity scene off of government property because that's just a basic thing about how that works. And again, secularism is not really that bad, as we'll continue to find out through this movie. And also the mayor notes, which I think is great, is he says, about this tradition, which we've had for over 50 years, like the tradition is not even as old as the actor playing this 38-year-old.
They first did it when he was like already 2 years old.
Yeah. Like in the universe of this movie, it's a thing like his dad started, who was probably also the mayor. And it's really important they keep doing it, which I think really hits home one of those core like evangelical Christian persecution things, which is like, it only matters to this guy and his immediate family.
Oh yeah, no, it's 100% a weird grievance thing. The I'm so oppressed war on Christmas bullshit.
But it's like no one else in town, with a few exceptions here and there, where they like basically show someone else in town who you think is going to be on the side of secularism, be like, I actually like a Merry Christmas, like slyly under the table.
They're all crypto conservatives, like masquerading as libs for no reason.
Yeah, but other than the small handful of those characters they show, the only people who give a shit about this is this guy and his family.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's just a petty grievance for the mayor personally.
A blood grievance, if you will.
Yeah, he and also apparently they were always competing in high school too, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just it matters to no one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It matters to no one.
The mayor is making this a personal vendetta where the Baldwin is sort of being like, no, a lot of these are pretty intolerant. Like we do kind of need to change. Like we can't continue to call this wasn't it like Nancy Reagan who changed everything from having the N-word to be Negro
I
instead?
think so, yeah.
So there was a bunch of places called Dead Negro Creek. This is Baldwin coming in with we can't
call it that.
We can't just call it this.
Yeah, that's spot on.
We have to move forward.
Yeah, speaking of having to move forward.
Yeah, well, the plot doesn't, but
yeah, the plot doesn't move forward this entire movie.
In the next scene, we get the wizard doing another truck rant.
The wizard.
The wizard is doing another truck rant, but this time it's next to a plane.
Yeah, because it's Alaska. It's a Cessna.
Yeah, it's the other half of the mayor's tour business.
Yeah.
So freakish.
He sounds like he's really oppressed.
Yeah, he's having a hard time.
He's really mad.
And hey, if we get rid of all these Merry Christmas speakers, I'll tell you what we should do next. Why stop there? Let's go after those, people that say, God bless you after you sneeze. Why not? Because what if I'm an atheist? And it's like, hey, I want to get sick without divine intervention, right?
All of his wizard energy is just going into his culminating final statement.
We're Christians. Christians happen to have started the United States of America.
At which point we wrote down, this is bad.
But also not entirely true.
No.
Yeah, not the kind of
deists.
Christians who would probably be super into him or vice versa, honestly.
No. They had other conservative beliefs, you could own humans, but they were pretty liberal on the idea of the existence of God.
Well, yeah, they were mostly just well, I think it's true and we should definitely make it possible. But again, we're liberals, so we don't think the government should force you to do it. We think that a landed aristocrat should make you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what
person
they were.
Who literally owns you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a bunch of landed aristocrats came together and said, we're going to found a country where we're the people who tell you what to do, not the government.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did.
And lo, they did.
Yeah,
and now we have Christmas.
Yeah, so he just truck rants about how Christians started this country. And the 1 o'clock tour comes up and just gives the wizard this weird, like, haha, we walked into a thing look. And then the wizard's just like, oh, yeah, you're going to have so much fun on this tour. Yeah, it's going to be fine. And then they just mention, okay.
How are we going to put a stop to this guy?
We're gonna handle this like we do any other civil suit. Have a meeting, have a discussion, take a vote, like always.
It's gonna be that easy.
Calm and orderly.
It's very confusing how they think the law works. So, shall we go to the next scene? In which it's another table scene, but this time it's
the city council.
I assume it's the city council.
Yeah, the like crypto the crypto libs we mentioned before. Lurking in his midst.
Yeah, because there's the pastor who's like, maybe secularism is fine, but it's still Christmas, and we should respect that. That's our town.
Yeah.
And the mayor is like,
look, Mitch Bright has a personal vendetta against me. He has since we were teenagers. I mean, you all know that. He's trying to prove a point. He wants to irritate me, and it's childish, all right? And we are not going to cave in.
If this is personal between you and him, work it out. Don't drag the whole town.
Fine, that's fair. I understand.
Mitch Bright actually has some good ideas that I really think have some merit.
Like what kind of good ideas?
Some business ideas. And I think we should listen to him. I don't think we should just push him out.
One of the other guys is just like, we need to replace some of our Merry Christmas banners anyway. Why don't we just say like Happy Holidays or Season's Greetings or something? That's just it's inclusive to everyone. That seems fine.
Yeah.
And the mayor is like, that is not fine. It is our tradition.
Ugh, he's such a freak.
Yeah, one of the guys talks about how he stole the baby Jesus out of the nativity scene.
I stole the baby Jesus out of it once when I was a kid. Got coal in my stocking that year, too, as I recall. My mother wasn't fond of practical jokes.
That's part of the tradition, too.
Yeah, and it's like, that's like not as disrespectful as just like removing it with a petition. Like, come on.
Yeah, he just calls everyone. He calls everyone on the city council childish for thinking that we should just like take it down or put it up somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they also mention that like, ooh, we're a little tight on the budget. You see, pulling those purse strings a little tight.
Mm-hmm.
Just for
doing
a
little austerity.
Because they cheaped out on the salt.
Yeah, they cheaped out on the ice melting salt. The one thing they surely would not cheap out on.
Yeah,
it's just pointless world building to just mention that like, oh, we're also a government. We do economic things too. Like, we're important actually. Just to remind you that they're not just a bunch of shitty people sitting around a table being like, you can't take our Jesus.
It's a bit like Trade Federation shit in Star Wars.
It really is. Well, in the next scene, we go to the Jar Jar Binks of this film meeting Girl. And yeah, so Kid goes back to Ski Hill to meet Girl and basically just says,
do you wait for me to come to the trails?
I'm just training, same as you.
just does not know how to talk to this little scene kid. Yeah.
Girl wants to race Kid because Kid is the best skier in the school, and he's kind of like, wow, you think that? And she's like, of course I do. You're so good at it.
It's very initial D.
You know, yeah, and I'm writing down like, Kid is surprised by quantitative statement he knows the answer to. Like, you would know if you're the fastest skier in school. You're constantly timing each other. Half these ski hill scenes have a timer in someone's hand.
Yeah, it's neurotic. That's the only thing to do here.
And that's the only point of that scene, was to just sort of establish more character trait. Because again, it doesn't feel like there's any sort of relationship developing. The kid is just like, she's weird, and she's like,
Do you want to ski together?
You mean race?
If you want.
No, it's what you want, because you have some weird thing about wanting to beat me.
You're the best skier on the school's team. Of course I want to beat you. That's how I get better.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense, yeah.
And he's like, I'm not that good. I'm not good. I don't know.
How dare you? Yeah.
And then we cut back to,
and that's a whole scene.
Yeah, that's a whole scene. And these are flying by. We're putting more discussion into some of these scenes than they take on screen.
Than they probably got before they were shot, honestly.
Yeah, right? Now we're back at the coffee shop. Because this is actually an important scene.
Yeah, this was the scene.
All of the plot that could have been packed into the last 21 minutes was set up here. Mitch, the Baldwin, is sitting at the table talking to some of the guys from City Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Just about how, like, hey, I know a guy in the cruise industry. We could get cruise ships to stop here and make this a point on the map to solve our money woes, which they really established like 45 seconds ago, honestly, by just throwing it off at the end of it. They can't take away our Christmas.
Oh no, our money.
Yeah, so he's saying like, hey, we could get the cruise ships running through here and we should sign a deal with them for that, because that would bring in so much tourist money and that'd be awesome. And they're kind of like, yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Because, I mean, if you're looking for money, yeah, it is. Cut rate Rob Lowe walks in as the mayor and says, hey.
I want to talk to you about your court filings. Maybe you could drop by my office when you're done here.
Well, actually, Dan, this is my office for the time being, so why don't you pull up a chair?
He's so evil.
And Baldwin, in a surprising foreshadowing we just glossed over because they don't know what a foreshadow says, hey, this is my office. Pull up a chair. Mm-hmm. We think he's being
Turns
snarky.
out he's poor. Spoilers.
Yep. Spoiler alert, he's going to get poor later. So yeah, we have another scene where everyone's sitting around a table, and the mayor does the youth pastor sit, where he whips a chair around and sits on it backwards to look at Daniel Baldwin. Amazing. I kept track of the number of youth pastor sits in this movie. Surprisingly, only this one. I was expecting a lot more once I saw this.
I know, yeah. Both ahead of and behind its time.
Yeah, so they just have like a very tense discussion. Makes a number of good points as always, and this is the best part.
I do have a problem with Christmas, as I do with Jesus and God and all the rest of the garbage you Christians have been jamming down my throat since I was a kid. You think you have all the answers and all the virtues of the world, don't you? See, I think you're no different than anybody else. As a matter of fact, you're probably even worse. You so-called Christians who are celebrating the birth of their Savior are the same people cussing me over a parking spot at the mall.
Yeah. And I'm just like, honestly, that's my only experience with Christians for the most part.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. That does happen, but that's not my only experience with Christians.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying, me personally, that's my primary experience with Christians. It sounds like this guy is having the same experience that I have. And I have no interest in doing a hashtag not all Christians because his comeback is, I believe, just not all Christians.
It's literally just that, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, and Lesser Baldwin has gone full mask off as a Reddit atheist at this point, yeah.
Yes, he is full Reddit atheist, And he just points out you can't preach your religion down to me, and he says, well, I have freedom of speech, and he's like, you're the mayor, it doesn't count for you, more or less. And I'm like, correct.
Yep. That's where she goes. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, and so everyone's watching, and basically they talk about how, seems like you're already campaigning to be the mayor, and...
You want to run for mayor of this town, try to change it? You go ahead, try it.
Is that a dare, Dan?
Yeah, they have to do it 3 times, 3 sarcastic incantations of, do you want to be the mayor or something? Before Lesser Baldwin finally concedes, and he's like, fuck it, fine, I'll be the mayor. Jesus.
Yeah.
It really is Chekhov's ballot.
Yeah.
So now we're at a scene where a bunch of Merry Christmas signs gets taken down, and then a whole bunch of car bumpers are shown.
That montage, that sad little montage. Yeah.
It's a sad montage of people's car bumpers where they've slapped either a sticker that says Happy Festivus or something, or Keep the Christ in Christmas, and it's showing that the town is doing a culture war.
Yeah,
it's happening.
The culture wars are here, baby.
Oh, and then the guy with the goatee that's on the city council puts up a holiday sale sign because I guess he owns a store, which is this doesn't make any sense to me at all because it's there's a holiday sale because there's more than one holiday and maybe the sale goes on between these two holidays.
Like Christmas and New Year's, maybe. Even if you want to get strictly Christian about it, maybe it's just Christmas and New Year's.
It's just a sign that goes from Merry Christmas to Season's Greetings. There's nothing much to it. Although I will say they did sneak in one bumper sticker amongst the bumpers that says the future is going to be bright to, I think, indicate, well, he's officially campaigning now.
Yeah. Which takes us into our next scene.
I don't think I have anything to say about this scene other than I said, okay, we wrote mayor talks with wife, talks about life, feels he didn't win right, and said he never...
More hillbilly elegy bullshit, basically.
Yeah, he just said, if I left to become something else, would I have lost my faith? Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, honey. It doesn't really answer the question.
Yeah,
she's just
you idiot.
She's just dragging a dog by its collar who clearly is not their dog and wants to be with anyone else.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Also, from my own experience of Christians who move from from a conservative place to a less conservative place, they either are no longer Christian or they recontextualize their faith to be well, I guess I'm spiritual or whatever.
Yeah, very loosey goosey. Yeah,
but they still believe in the Christian God, but they're but it's like whatever.
Yeah. He's just like, I wonder if I would have lost my faith. And she's just like, oh, honey, it's an important part of who you are. And I'm like, I basically just noted it
like
doesn't answer the question.
I'm like, is it too? Is it?
Yeah.
I guess so. I would say the main part of him is just being a dick.
Yeah. So the next scene is the one you want to talk about, where they are once again back in the coffee shop talking about bringing the cruise ships in, when who walks in but the wizard.
God, it's back and forth on the coffee shop like the fucking Room or something with this movie.
Well, yeah, because they had only like so much like budget.
Yeah.
I haven't been...
So they rented it.
I've been missing mentioning it, but this is another table scene. I'm counting anything at the bar with everyone at tables in the background and them going to those tables or standing on tables. There's another it's another scene where it's mostly a room with tables
That
and they're
definitely
around
counts.
them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it does. Because they're going to be at tables.
My job is tables.
Tables are the main character of this film. What happens around them? What do people use them for?
Eddie Munster
Why do
jumps
Christians
all
need
over
them?
them. You know? Anyway.
Yeah. So go ahead. Tell us about this scene, which is actually an important culture war moment.
So he does yet another fucked up theater kid monologue.
Right. Which is like this is the part that's ripped from his stand-up. He does his stand-up routine, but he like literally stands up. He does a Beto and he gets on a table. And just like Beto, everyone's like, please just get off
you're
the
being a
table.
theater
Like
kid.
just get off the table.
I mean, it's happy holidays, right? Not unhappy holidays, but I gotta say, there's really only one holiday that makes me happy in December. Well, me and 98% of America. What could it be? Any suggestions? Huh? Boxing Day, right? Make you happy? Not me, because I don't know what it's for. Let me see. We got Pearl Harbor Day.
Also, so the Lesser Baldwin pulls out his, I think, phone and starts recording him. It looks like a fucking BlackBerry or something.
I mean, BlackBerry would have been
contemporary,
like,
I guess.
prominent.
It looks like a slide-up Nokia.
Yeah, I could see that too.
It's a really old-looking phone. Who the fuck knows what this is? But I assume they used it so the audience, the primary audience of this movie would know it's a cell phone.
People, yeah.
Or the fact that like liberals have cell phones because no one else
Lives in
did.
these cell phones of theirs.
It's true. They frame this as out of time. There's no internet in this movie.
Yeah. The internet
Right.
is used solely by Mitch, the Lesser Baldwin, to like look up deals, you know?
But it's 2010. Like the iPhone has been out for like 3 or 4 years now.
Oh, the internet's been a thing, yeah. That's the real fucked up part about this.
Well, the thing actually though, you know what? I don't know if the boomers were on Facebook at this point yet.
Oh, I think they were.
But not like they are now.
I think they.
True.
Oh no. Yeah, they were just doing the whole like Candy Crush,
Farmville, yeah.
fucking Words with Friends.
Yeah, they
thing.
were. Yeah, they were crushing candies and sharing
Yeah,
photos of their
yeah.
kids. Like, this actually might be a decent portrait of like old people Christian life at this era, where like
Yeah, the
This is
algorithm
what-
hadn't melted their brains quite yet.
yeah, only the Bible had done that.
Yeah.
The Bible and like Rush Limbaugh, yeah. So, yeah, how does that wrap up? Because again, I'm just like blanking on how all these scenes fucking like actually conclude, because nothing happens in this movie.
Well, they don't end.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Talk about like out of place, out of time though, because yeah, there's no sense of progression in this fucking movie.
There really wasn't a transition between this scene and the next one.
Yeah. Oh, this is where the little girl's singing. Yeah, and she's like bad at it, which is really sad.
Well, first there's a scene. Unfortunately, the scenes that appear to be wiped from your mind. There is first a skiing scene.
Oh, right, more skiing.
In which they
Another
race.
one.
Okay,
All I'm going
but-
to say about this, so we can move on, is girl and kid race because kid has agreed to race girl, and girl falls and hurts her knee and is like, "I'm fine. Don't help me." And kid
And
is
he
like,
helps her, yeah.
yeah." And then like they walk off, and she does a really bad stage limp.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is never resolved. Her leg is perfectly fine in the next scene.
They mention it again just so
she's
you
in.
know that like, "Oh, how's your knee?" And she's like, "It's fine."
Great.
I bet you what
Amazing
they did was
filmmaking.
they forgot which knee it was. Then they were like, "Oh, continuity, shit, whatever."
Yeah.
Whatever. Also, I'm seeing this like, Bo, you're right. This guy looks exactly like Sam Hyde. I was like, why do I remember
He looks
this
like
guy?
Sam Hyde is why.
There's a lot of scenes coming up we can just kind of blast through, so we're not like dragging the shit out. Like, and it becomes.
Oh yeah.
It becomes like the movie.
Before we become that which we hate.
No, so the little girl is singing even though it's illegal.
It's illegal
now.
to sing Christmas music.
And then
not kid, but girl kid, who is their other kid.
The little baby girl child with a terrible voice. Not to be
girl
mean
child with
again.
a terrible voice. I'm going to use so much of the singing for this movie.
Yeah,
she's so bad at it.
Make her sing, and it seems mean.
It really is. She's really bad.
Hark the herald angels singing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth, then mercy, my
Hey, Mikhail,
own.
how are you, honey?
if anything, Baldwin is just sort of like saving her from embarrassment.
Yeah, Lesser Baldwin approaches and like kind of squares up with the wizard, who is her uncle. I should remind the audience, because this is where it clicked for me. And the wizard is like, nah, man, you can't do this. It's Christmas. And
she is standing on the half-built nativity, singing a Christmas carol to a small crowd of onlookers.
People.
A lot of whom just appear to be teens.
The evening snow. I didn't notice that, but that totally makes sense.
Well, they're teens and old people. It's a weird mix.
Yeah, that's all this town is. So Lesser Baldwin's like, well, I'll just call the fucking cops on you then, buddy. And like he kind of reaches for the kid. Yeah, he calls the cops on them. He kind of reaches for the kid, and the wizard, understandably actually, which is a change for the wizard, is like, no, get your fucking hands off my niece, man. And like they tussle a little bit, and Lesser Baldwin's like,
you all saw that. That was assault.
Real ethical stuff.
No, this is the one scene where I didn't like Baldwin, because I'm like, he's literally just trying to get her to come off of the nativity scene and just stand on the side.
The kid has gone on autopilot, by the way, at this point.
Yeah, he's just trying to say, hey, I need you to step down off the nativity scene, which is on government property, onto the sidewalk in front of you, and then it's legal to sing. Like,
and then
that's
you're
just
good.
petty bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're trying to set up that this man is a petty Los Angeles liberal, who like all liberals in Los Angeles, wants you to follow the letter of the law. For some reason.
He's from San Francisco.
Oh, sorry, San Francisco.
And there's one point where they're like, oh, you went to Berkeley and lived in San Francisco. That's not the everyday man. And it's like,
that's everyday America Joe. Yeah.
And I'm like, but that kind of is.
That's
like,
a good chunk of
people. There's a lot of poor people who live. Yeah. There's a lot of poor people that live in San Francisco. Not everyone is like a Google employee.
Yeah.
So this also just kind of peters off this scene.
Well,
like,
it's specifically, they couldn't get the Seward, Alaska police to do a scene with them, so they just cut back to the parents' home where they're all, instead of sitting around the table, they pulled the chairs over to the countertop, and they're sitting around the countertop.
That's how you know it's like, Greg, what the fuck did you do? Sorry, wizard.
Yeah.
Because they refer to him as wizard, of course.
Yeah.
Also,
they're in trouble.
Also, in the previous scene, the wizard in space, because it's cutting back and forth, there's no continuity.
It's great.
He's like all over the place.
He's just jumping around.
He's standing up. He's sitting down. He's standing up. He's sitting down.
I believe they call
going
that
forward,
Misty
he's
Step.
going back.
So here's my theory: is the person who edited this movie is an extremely competent editor, but was only able to work with what they gave him. So it's like he wants to cut off, like, whoever this is, they want to cut off, like, you know, the shot at a reasonable time, but the only way they can is to leave like 4 or 5 frames of the grimace that every woman in every scene does right before the camera cuts off of them.
Those
because
are so sad.
They drop character too fast. And there's the sequence.
Like there's a
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the way that the sci-fi films were made, like all those mockbusters, was probably made in a very similar way to this, where they're like 3 takes and we take the best.
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they gave they didn't even pick the best one. They just gave them all to the editor and said, here's all the footage.
Sort through our garbage, figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because like in the scene where kid and girl are racing on the ski hill, she falls over and then like he reaches down to pick her up and pulls her up, and the act of pulling her up is incredibly fluid and well edited, such that I almost didn't notice for a few seconds the fact that in the process of pulling up next to her and saying, let me help you up, reaching out and pulling her up, the kid and girl have gone from wearing skis and holding ski poles to kid has all of the skis and poles over his shoulder and is pulling her up.
He's
like,
also a masterful pickpocket.
Yeah, they just magic all of these things onto his shoulder. And it was at that point I'm like, wow, I'm really impressed with the editor of this film that they made it so fluid you almost missed the drastic inability of the filmmakers to keep continuity.
Yeah, no, they definitely didn't have a costumer in this, because otherwise people would have looked less like shit.
They're constantly just wearing red shirt, green jacket.
Or if they're outside in the snow, like, anything dark and baggy, so you can't make them out other than their faces.
They're frequently wearing like branded shirts that definitely have not paid for any placement in this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's just the jacket they have because they're just rich, weird Christians who like buy
Carhartts, like they don't actually like work for a living. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should say that in the next scene, the part where they're all talking around the countertop, the mayor is wearing a red shirt. This is where he looks like Papa John.
Yes, he looks like that. This is the scene
polo.
where we first wrote down Papa John.
Yeah, no, he looks exactly like Papa John.
I'm glad you can see it.
They're only using the available lighting. They did not bring any hot lights to this set because this is such a dark scene.
I kind of like the lighting in this movie just because, like, I don't know, maybe as someone who wants to make a movie, and who has done so all of my childhood, like, I don't know, it's just like, oh yeah, like you can, thanks to like good cameras and digital editing and stuff, like you really can make a pretty solid looking scene off of just natural lighting.
Charlie,
that's cool.
The background of Papa John is like several colors because the ISO is just bumping up so high. Like
it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up.
It's really messy. Like what the white door is like it's white and green and yellow and blue and red. Look, like it's very bad.
I just respect a low budget movie. This is not one of those, so I don't respect it.
Hot lights cost $14.
I'm not saying it's not something you shouldn't do. I'm saying it's really fun that you can just whip out some cameras with a bunch of friends in Seward, Alaska, and make a decent looking film. It's nice.
At what point does the wizard hang out with the kids? Because that was an upsetting scene too.
It's coming up shortly.
Okay.
So first of all, so we're revealed in this scene around the kitchen counter. Ooh, someone's in trouble. The mom is like, I didn't expect that the cops would bring you two home until you're older, because apparently he did call the cops on them. That's all that happens.
Of course.
The next scene, it's city council, but different people? ? Sitting around a table. Eating cookies and coffee cake and coffee.
Yeah, this is the city's one black member.
Yeah,
this is the religious committee.
Oh, the religious committee. Yeah. It's the religion committee of the legislature or something.
Yeah.
Dennis, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. You told me over text that there's only one black person in this entire town. There are two.
Well, she seemed like she was from out of town. I don't know why that was the vibe. It seemed like he had called in religious leaders from around the area.
Sort of like they just asked someone
had like people ad-lib it. Yeah.
Yeah. So no. There are two black people in this town. When they show up at the end in the big church procession, she is with another black guy who I presume is her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are two of them. They are married because there's not mixing in this town apparently.
Of course.
Because it is a Christ-centered town or some fucking thing.
Racist
there are only two
like that,
There are two people of color in this movie, and we have encountered one of them.
Yeah.
The other one will be there later, only as an adjunct. But it's feminist though, because the only other black man in this is an adjunct to the black woman who is a powerful city council-ish member.
Yeah, that'll make sense.
Also, just because I'm not going to belabor this point, there's no native people in this.
No.
Yeah.
Alaska has one of the highest populations of Native Americans.
Yep.
At the very end of the credits, they seriously and deeply thank the city of Seward, Alaska for their support, by which I mean, I assume just sweeping all of the people from the town out of the way of the shots.
It's actually a land acknowledgement, but not for the natives. It's for Seward, Alaska.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Whatever this town is called, Tipper Falls or some shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, they have a council of religious folks. The wife brings up this really weird, she's like, what is Christmas? But with a capital C. I didn't understand this line of thought at all.
Yeah, it's basically let's get away with making it Christmas, but not Christmas, essentially, is the premise. Which they don't do. They just do Christmas.
Yeah, well, right. And they just say, the one pastor guy from the city council scene is there. And he's just like...
The point is, the person bringing the complaint hates all religion. He hates God. He doesn't want equal representation of religion. He wants none.
He wants no representation. How are we supposed to bow down to these God haters?
Oh, because he's a
God hater.
Yeah, they say he's a God hater.
Yeah.
He hates God.
Yeah, that was a real big one. Yeah, they're basically just balking at the idea. They hand wave away Kwanzaa as now I have to put up a Kwanzaa, whatever the fuck the symbol of that holiday is.
That's so rough.
which without the swearing is basically what he says.
It drips with that much contempt. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it sets up the internal clash of this movie, which is not well represented in anything else. Which I will say, the black member of City Council brings up, I think, quite correctly, which is the wife says, "We're in a real pickle here because these do sound like the laws of our country."
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're like, harumph, 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 we hate America. Like, they're this close to that.
They explicitly say, screw the establishment clause, but we can't teach our children to disrespect our country or teach our children to disrespect authority. So how do we square this? We can't do it without teaching them to disrespect authority, one of the most important things we inculcate in our children, which they explicitly state.
Screw the establishment clause.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. There's where we want to teach our children. Disrespect for our country and authority.
Oh.
So what do you think we should do about this? Because this is an injustice.
Yeah. It's very, like, proto 3%ers.
It is, yes.
It's pretty whack, yeah.
So the next scene is probably the most upsetting scene.
The most pedo scene of the movie.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Just upsetting in general.
This is a long scene.
So,
this might be the longest scene in the movie.
Yeah, so basically the wizard puts on a play with the kids. That's the one?
Well, the daughter is
Yeah, because
is
they
the
were supposed
angel.
to do a church pageant.
Yeah, but that got canceled
They're
because of the Lesser Baldwin, right?
It's not being put on quite yet, but also it will wind up being put on, spoiler alert, on Christmas Eve, which seems like the time they would have put it on anyway. So they're basically just functionally rehearsing for the play.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's freakish. The entire time, I summed it up myself as it vibes like the wizard, like his intentions aren't malicious or anything, but just by being near them, those children will be caused harm. Like, he'll, like, show them, like, hey, here's what happens if you put your face too close to a snowmobile tread. You know, like, shit like that. Where
and he'll pull up something from Rotten.com or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just fully deranged.
Yeah.
Fully, thoroughly deranged.
Again, this is probably the methiest scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
This is he goes
like he's on something,
he goes
right?
full Robin Williams, which I believe that's cocaine.
This
I'm
is
not
where
sure.
I realized it was Robin Williams, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he goes full Robin Williams. Before that, brief establishment, girl from Ski Hill shows up at this boy's house. He's also there.
Unannounced.
At the back door.
Unannounced at the back door, because like they keep doing, so they have this weird habit of like when they want to break up a scene because it feels too long or like they had to do it in multiple takes, they just go from an establishing shot outside of the house. They're inside the house. They do an establishing shot of the outside of the house, and then they go back to a different shot in a different room of the house instead of, say, filming them going from one room to the other. They never show this, so it's this really weird, like, there's fireplace room, there's bedroom, and there's kitchen room, and all of these are the same house, but never do they go between them. They're just in these sort of, there's just this liminal
These
space
nowhere
amongst them, the
zones in the
establishing
house.
shots.
Yeah, it's the house of leaves.
Yeah.
It's the house of fucking leaves.
It's very clear that they didn't have a trolley to like put the camera on to move around smoothly.
Yeah,
so
they have, like,
instead
one handheld shot, maybe.
Oh, there were a lot of shaky shots, yeah.
Yeah, so yes, instead they've created this like uncomfortable like liminal space of like house.
We
like,
are
Alaska
in the Alaska house.
Alaska
yeah.
coffee.
And it's also a
Alaska coffee shop. Alaska office?
Yeah, the only other scenes of them walking are across a bridge and through that road next to the river.
Yeah.
That's it. But no, the house is really, really... The thing that gives the house this creepy liminal feel is because they have clearly scrunched all of the furniture to one corner of a room to be able to pack the camera equipment in there.
Very uncomfortable.
Close enough, like, to be able to actually get everyone in a single shot. And so there's just all these really it's like all of the angles are dead on 90-degree angle shots, but you still feel like you're in a haunted house because I think some of the furniture might move from scene to scene just to get it in.
So another thing that this scene inculcated in me about the wizard, he has Grave Robber from Repo the Genetic Opera vibes.
Holy
which I
shit,
think
he
is
does,
why I didn't
yes.
trust him around children.
That's so bad. We like the Grave Robber.
Zydrin comes in a little glass pot. Like, that was their Christmas pageant.
Yeah, that was absolutely... You're right. Maya Dan is addicted to the wife.
Addicted to the wife?
Addicted to the wife.
And addicted to the wife, he needs a little help with his apathy. Fuck.
Oh my god, I
And a
only
little
watched
help
Repo
comes in a
one
little
time,
glass
and I-
vial somewhere against his anatomy.
We can't be that big of theater kids. I know we are. I know we
love
are.
this. Who doesn't love this movie?
Yeah.
I didn't. It was all right.
It's such a great movie. I mean, I think if you're kinky and want to fuck Anthony Stewart Head, this is the movie for you.
Much like
And
this
that's
movie.
me.
Much like this movie, you have to want to fuck the lesser Baldwin.
Jesus
So
Christ.
no
Preacher.
So, yeah, this is a very upsetting scene where,
So yeah, they're rehearsing the Christmas pageant, and Ski Girl shows up. The boy is like, "Please leave," and everyone else in the house is like, "No, she's coming in."
Invite her in. Maybe she doesn't want to come in.
Hey, I'll come in.
No, come and stay. Watch us do our pageant.
Yeah. So now they're all here on the couch.
And he does his Robin Williams.
Me. You. Okay, action. In a world where there was no television, or Xbox, or texting, one girl is about to experience the greatest challenge of her life.
Look at me. I'm just a girl trying not to step anywhere onto scorpions because I have no socks.
Do not be afraid. You have found favor with God. You will give birth to a child and call his name Jesus.
Is that right? Well, what in the world would she say?
Yeah, the wizard does an impression of Robin Williams as like different biblical characters. At some point, he does like a misogyny and is pretending to be like a 14-year-old girl.
He's pretending to be Mary Magdalene.
He's doing Cash Me Outside.
No,
not this one.
Not Mary Magdalene.
No, that's Mary.
Not Mary Magdalene. He's
Sorry,
yeah, no,
that's who
Mary
I meant. I don't know my Christian.
Mary Mother of God.
Mary Mother of God.
No, I as a Catholic know, and this is why I was very offended, because he was a man playing a woman, which the woman, the very woman,
the lady.
But there's a lot of involving Mary in this, which is again a very Catholic thing, and I think this is the only time Christians ever really acknowledge Mary was a thing.
Yeah,
like
was
with the birth of Christ,
yeah.
and then. Yeah, so what I'm saying is Catholicism is far more feminist. Anyway.
Mary was the original girl boss.
Wait, we for this scene, we wrote down of the wizard, nobody has ever told this guy no.
No, yep.
Yeah, so he does Robin Williams being an effeminate gay guy.
God, this is
to be Mary, Mother of God.
Actually, I'm not really good with this because you see, I'm suddenly like pregnant without explanation, which means my fiance can kind of like officially stone me, which completely ruins my makeup, and my BFFs will like never speak to me again. So I really don't see that as God's favorite.
Yeah, it's really weird what he's doing.
Yeah, it makes a joke about how like which I hope they don't stone me for, because that would completely ruin my makeup. And I'm like, Jesus, dude, that's dark.
Yeah,
like I know it's the
pretty
Bible,
bleak.
but like cripes.
But those are kind of like that's Joseph you're talking about. That's like a guy in the nativity scene. Like, oh, you're telling me that dude next to the donkey is capable of stoning a woman to death? It's like, all right, man.
Oh, by the way, there's I think a little inconsistency here with the movie.
Yeah.
At the very end of this like bizarre scene, I
hope this is what
the wizard is giving like the credits to who is playing who, and at some point, the kid plays Joseph. Like he gives a line.
He pulls the kid
or
up.
two.
Yeah.
The wizard says, "And Joseph played by Joseph." The kid's name is Cody in this movie.
Joseph, pathetically playing Joseph.
Yes, I believe we just learned this
It
now.
is.
The kid's name is Cody.
So
we've just learned this.
So is it? Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, "Wait, weren't they calling him Cody this entire time?"
No, I don't think they were.
Confused.
It's really weird. It's drunk uncle energy is what it is.
But yeah, in the credits, he's Cody.
Yeah,
he's Cody in the credits, and also let me see here.
It's real fucked
I
up,
could
isn't
have
it?
sworn they were calling him Cody.
Yeah, no, they were. The name.
I just always called him the son.
Oh, we didn't know his name was Cody until this scene, but we went with it from here because we didn't know what his name was. They do call him Cody again.
I cannot believe that some stoned asshole came up with a better like naming convention for this movie than the creators of the movie, and that is you have the mayor, the wizard, the lesser Baldwin. Like everybody's like, you know, like an RPG class or something.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah,
they really are.
Everyone's a tarot card.
Yeah, they're all tarot cards. Yes, they're fucking tarot cards. Oh no.
So I believe in the midst of this Robin Williams routine, we cut back to them sitting around a table, another table scene. I would like to note, I did not count them sitting on the couch in front of the coffee table doing the Robin Williams act as a table scene, and if I did, there'd be like 3 more.
Well, because it's like a chest, really.
It's
not really a coffee table.
Oh, you're right. It is a
It's not a
chest.
table
It's not a
proper.
table. It's a chest. It's a chest with.
Damn, this kid is fucking tall, or this comedian is very short.
Both.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. This is the first scene where we've noticed this kid is like half a foot taller than the comedian.
Yeah.
Wow.
So are we at the point now where the judge is being threatened?
No.
Like they're threatening to appear the judge?
We are at the scene that I think is actually the most important scene in the movie that I call ideology scene.
Important is such a good word for this.
This isn't a very... So it says, if I can just...
You know, forgive me for looking at this so simply. I teach elementary kids after all, but...
This is where she says Christmas starts with a capital C.
Capital C. The C comes from a name.
Yeah, this is the Christmas with a capital C thing.
Christ the Lord
is the center of Christmas. Not our rites, not our tradition.
None of that matters.
If it starts to detract us from the one whose birth we celebrate.
The one.
Right. And forgive me, Dan, but I don't think this is something City Hall can do. But it is something that we as Christians can do. Something we have to do.
The wizard!
Yeah, this is like...
We spent less time worrying about our rights and more time worrying about others' needs, then I think we might actually be doing Christmas.
If we spent less time worrying about our rights and more time worrying about others' needs, then I think we might actually be doing Christmas.
And that's where the Soviet anthem starts up, baby. Soyuz, blah, 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 blah.
I was gonna say this actually reminded me of like those like Deseret fascists, the ones in Utah.
Oh,
like
God,
this
yeah.
is very much like I'm a Mormon and I'm going to take over this government.
Yeah,
property.
that sounds right.
Yeah, no, this is I think the most important scene.
The Bundys.
Yes, because it specifically identifies them with a strain of like American Christianity where they're like, our rights come from God, not from the state.
Kind of
we need to
pseudo-fascistic.
make God and the state one. Yes, fascistic. It identifies them explicitly as fascists because they're like, we need to worry about people's needs, not their rights, and what they need is to be given
Christ.
God. Yes.
Yeah. I would say, hot take, this movie is better about expressing its politics than Far Cry 5.
I'm only about halfway through Far Cry 5 currently, and yeah, I started it. I got really bummed.
It doesn't get any better.
I got really bummed that you had to be the cop because I didn't want to be a cop, and then you just make friends with an Alex Jones like prepper, and then you just make friends with everyone in town, like
normal folks.
Yeah, every normal folks in this town. Like, yeah, this is a town much like Far Cry 5. It's just these are all towns populated by normal American folks, which is a bummer because Far Cry 5 looked to be really, really promising. Oh God, the trailers for it they got me in my gut.
The judge.
Here we are. Well, I should say first we cut back to them finishing the nativity play and doing more Robin Williams.
And once they arrive, what happens? They meet up with crazy people.
Joe, what do you twos want? I'll tell you what, you twos can go into the barn.
But she does it off stage, so it's kind of icky, which makes Mary not only a saint, but he's kind of reaching action figure status in my book. Instead of God coming down miraculously and freaking him out. And me as the donkey. Thank you. Take your bows, take your bows.
God, that lasts so long. Ugh.
No, yeah, this scene is so long.
Yeah.
It's the longest scene. They literally put a scene in the middle of it.
Yeah. God, they do it so many times.
It's exhausting. Yeah, they're back. Hold on, I'm listening to the thing.
Okay, gotcha. It's good radio.
So the
The Christ Squad.
Yeah, the Christ Squad. She says,
"What does this Christmas with a capital C look like?"
As if to provoke questions.
A discussion amongst the...
amongst the families watching, yeah. And the pastor replies,
Like Philippians 2, Jesus did not consider equality with God something that could be grasped. He made himself nothing. He in fact took on the very nature of a servant.
Then there's a long pause where they all just kind of nod, and then it cuts back to the Robin Williams shit.
Right.
What does that mean?
Like, I grew up Catholic. I did not really read the Bible, but the one thing that I do remember from the Bible was at some point someone asked Jesus, like, "Oh, so should we like be paying our taxes?" And Jesus says, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's."
Yeah.
Basically saying, follow the law. So what are they doing? I don't get, like, if they want to be so American and they say that this is like, you know, this Constitution is based off the... I don't understand this. I don't get this.
Yeah, they love America and they hate America. It's pretty fucking Umberto Eco.
Like, just be a bad bitch and hate America.
Yeah, I do it every day of my life.
Uh-huh, and you're the baddest bitch I know.
I wake up and piss it.
I just wanted to get to the end of the Robin Williams scene.
Finally.
Which is just... The scene ends... Robin Williams kisses his niece and says, incredible, and goes over to his nephew and leans in to kiss him and then does like a no homo where he kind of jumps and backs off and then hugs him sideways.
It's
like,
really weird.
It just,
That's your nephew, dude.
Yeah, it just...
You can kiss your nephew on the cheek. You don't even have to be Italian to do it.
Like, it's very fine.
Yeah, and then just gives him a weird side hug, and it's just I'm currently freeze framed on the stiffest this kid has ever looked, just sort of like smiling,
really
glazed over, blank, entirely limp in this hug. Terrible. Yeah.
Thank God
anyway.
that scene's over.
Yeah, so they have a scene on the porch where the kid and the girl sort of realize that, like, oh, I'll make you a deal. We'll race for the Christmas Cup. I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm back in the game for the Christmas Cup. The boy says.
It is now revealed the girl's name is Sienna.
Yeah.
Which I think I think Sienna is the closest this movie comes to having a different like the joke we made was this is actually, I can't make this joke without sounding like a racist piece of shit, because while we were watching it, we were joking that she's native coded because like she's weird and alternative, and to a bunch of Christians thinking about Alaska where they don't live, that's probably what they think alt is.
That's as close as they can get. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we just noticed that like her name is Sienna, a red-brown color, and that's the closest this movie comes. To which my friend Kim replied, "That's a real stretch." And I'm like,
not out of the realm of possibility.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. So, and then this is when they start doing the whole like Christmas with a capital C. They start like delivering cookies and shit and like put up Christmas trees. By the way, Christmas trees have been decided that they are not religious at all. You could put up a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Coca-Cola has Christmas trees. I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're antagonizing Sam Hyde, who has in paper inside of his store window, holiday sale.
God forbid.
Like, what if the sale goes between holidays?
Yeah, you can't be having that.
Like,
now.
what if it
Come
goes
on.
beyond New Year? Like, there is a second holiday here.
Yeah.
There's Christmas and there's nothing else.
January 3rd.
No. Well, first of all, January 6th. Second of all, there's absolutely no fucking reason to celebrate anything but Christmas in this town.
See, it makes no sense. Well, that just reminds me, because you said January 6th, and I was like, oh, like All King's Day? And it's like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
I was still in Christmas
no,
mode.
my friend.
Okay, can I move on to this next shot right here? One of my favorites in the movie, which had me screaming, because it opens with a top-down aerial shot, zooming down into a table just sitting in the middle of a field.
Table shot.
Another goddamn table scene. They're just
a table
in the middle
was summoned
of the field.
Yu-Gi-Oh style. Yeah, exactly.
In the middle of nowhere. It's got cookies all over it. They're doing something which isn't really clear yet, because they don't explain until after this scene, as far as I understood.
They're distributing their Christmas with a capital C propaganda, yeah.
Yeah, it's cookies that are shaped like capital C's.
I do believe at some point, it might have been here or another aerial shot, the one black woman in town says, "Would you like a cookie with a capital C?" or like cocoa with a capital C?
Yeah. So,
I'm like,
basically
this
the premise
sounds
is
like, in another context, this is like sexual.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be like a click noise. I kind of turned it into a snort accidentally. Yeah, it just really like does not like sell well that they're actually getting anything done with this Christmas with a capital C initiative.
It would help if the shot was in town instead of for some reason in the backwoods somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're just standing around a table. Like they met for like whatever Christian dogging is in the backwoods of Alaska, where they're gonna share cookies and squirt whipped cream on each other.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
it immediately just cuts back to the coffee shop, where the wizard has come in to sort of do a Robin Williams apology for jumping up on the table and yelling about Christmas.
Hey, I'm sorry for being Robin Williams.
Yeah, he says the least convincing sorry I've ever heard.
It sucks pretty bad, yeah.
Last time I was in here, I kind of accidentally stepped on your chairs with my muddy boots and made a big scene.
I remember.
Sorry.
And so he says, I came to make it up to you, holds up a bottle of green cleaner and a rag, and the woman just kind of nods.
Yeah, she knows better than to engage with him at this point.
Her eyes are wide.
There's nothing behind them.
Yeah. She grimaces, her mouth falls, and she just kind of looks down. And with no words, he goes around and he begins to like start cleaning off the chairs. So I guess only like a few hours have happened in the last
Who knows?
30 minutes? I don't know. Is it the next day?
Maybe.
Like they did a night shot and it's day again. So did she just not clean up the previous night? Or is he just cleaning up after the mess today?
The sun's always up because it's winter.
Ah, okay.
That might actually be it. I don't know.
Except for the night shots, which are copious, and
those are once a month somehow.
Yeah, there's only one night shot every 6 weeks.
Oh, what is the Baldwin doing on his computer? I need to see
nothing.
This.
He's doing nothing on his computer.
He's just in the background of that scene.
It's like vaguely implied that he's like doing deals or whatever, but he doesn't actually.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's like over his shoulder. There is something.
He's on a Macintosh. It looks
so you know he's not doing anything.
He's
just looking at files.
Yeah. Also, his dock is along the left side of his screen, and he's clicked a folder which has been placed on the dock, which has expanded into a thing the size of the screen, which just appears to be a pile of like.
That's the downloads folder.
What a guy! What a kind of guy!
That almost looks like it could be a system files folder, because it's like those look like a bunch of things that are going to open and say, what application do you want to use to open this? Because you haven't downloaded developer tools.
No. It's the downloads folder, because in the bottom right corner or like the very last thing is like this little tiny gray icon that's unmistakably the open in window. So like, because you could open the downloads folder as like this widget, and then you could open it up as an actual
But in 2010, But in 2010, it was just any folder you had on the dock expanded into an open folder like that. It could be any folder.
Oh,
and the little thing in the corner just said "Open in Finder," and it would open whatever it was in the Finder window.
I'm gonna say that this is still his downloads folder, because what the fuck are like? It looks like they just saved a bunch of HTML files, like just
their Tumblr themes.
No, you know what I think it is? I think it might be his desktop. Because it's got two yellow things in it, like they're fucking like external
really
drives.
Messy, fucked up desktop.
Oh, but what fucking asshole uses desktop icons on a Mac?
You can see how many folders and files are just riddling his screen behind it. And again, there's two yellow icons in this blow up folder on his computer, which I think are external drives that have been connected or partitions.
Well.
No, those are dot packages.
I think we can delve into the cyberpunk workings of the Lesser Baldwin's Mac, maybe in a bonus episode.
No, this is the most interesting podcast we've ever recorded. Shut up.
No. There is another. The next scene, I guess the girl kid is gonna make cookies and drop them off. Yeah, she's gonna drop them off to the Baldwin. So her mom drives her. She's still in the angel outfit.
Once again, you skipped a skiing scene, which is just the boy skiing up to girl and being like, "Hey," and then we move on.
Them having all the chemistry of siblings. Yeah.
Yes, this is a very good way to put them.
So at the doorstep of the Baldwin, I don't know why they didn't just do Folly.
You noticed this too.
Angle, but it is
it's so good.
Yeah, but it is the camera is facing the little girl, and she's clearly like 3 feet away from where the actual door is. And so they told her to do a knocking motion. And she's not a skilled actor, nor did they hold up like a plank for her to knock.
Just put a plank there.
So
she reaches her hand out of frame above the camera and just sort of flails it back and forth like she's knocking.
She just kind of wiggles it around. Yeah, it's really sad.
And once again, the editor did a stellar job. It's syncing up the sounds as best as you can.
It's like the
pretty
hokey
good
pokey
sounds.
is what she's doing.
Yeah, she's shaking it all around.
And then at some point she's a little chismosa, and then she like looks into the house of the Baldwin because she's just that little bitch. She's like, ooh,
yeah, she really wants to give Mitch cookies because he needs to know that these goddamn cookies are a gift from Christ.
Yeah,
Christ. Which she says a little later.
Baby Jesus died for your cookies. They killed him on the 26th and made him into cookies.
Come get these cookies.
I just learned the kid's name is Michaela.
Girl child.
Ew,
yeah.
Let's stick with girl kid.
I mean, she's dressed as an angel for every part of this movie, basically. From the point we see her singing nativity songs, or
we've established that my naming convention for the I have best car ideas.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So here we are. We are 2/5 of the way through, and I wrote down at this point 48 minutes. The entire plot has been established, and every scene is just people talking around a table, griping about plot. Event, arrow, reaction.
Oh, I hate that you're right.
Yeah. No plot has actually happened or resolved yet. This is the first character development we've seen, really, unless you count the skiing scenes, in which the girl is like, we should give these cookies to Mitch because he's just a lonely, sad guy who should be included in the magic of Christmas.
Yeah. By the way, I've never met such
He's
a compassionate Christian like that.
Or child,
Absolutely
for that
none.
matter.
No, me either. Jesus. Like, I had friends when I was growing up, because I grew up in, like, a suburb that wasn't, like, unlike where they're filming this in, like, the terms of who I'm seeing on screen. But, like... Yeah, no, they were just like, we want to bring you over to show you the magic of Christmas and have you be involved in it. But like, all it ever meant was I go over to their house and they do Christ at me for like 4 hours. And when I'm like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, and it's exhausting. That's a note I made. I forget at what point in this movie, but like, no wonder like Mitch and like, presumably like other people who grow up in this town grow up to be fucking fedora Reddit guys because like, growing up here seems terrible.
Yeah. It was also at this point, very quickly, Jack wrote down, this is a well-made play, which, and Jack was trying to remember the specific, like, official, this is how you make a well-made play standards. It's like, no, it's like it takes place over a few days. All the character development takes place, like, around a table and in simple scenes that can be followed. It's not a huge thing.
Wow.
This is made even better by the fact that you mentioned that the stand-up comedian only knows how to act like he's on a stage. Like, this is a well-made play.
Yeah.
In a very small capsulated thing that could take, like, an hour to put on and has all of the things that kind of keep you in the universe for that hour.
This is a well-made play sounds like a euphemism. I know that's actually all like good frameworks for theater, but a well-made play sounds like a euphemism for an absolute dog shit play.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next couple of scenes don't really matter up until the point where the judge actually does show up. Like,
yeah, they threaten the judge for a while, and that doesn't mean anything.
And then, but the judge does show up and is like, these statues are beautiful. Personally, I have no issue with it, but you can't do this. So what you have 3 options. The options are still have your Christmas nativity scene, but you also include other images,
other religions.
Put it on public grounds where anyone can put up any other religious thing too if they want.
And then that was
which seems like a pretty like decent like. I mean, if the town is as like moral majority as they make it out to be, that seems fine.
Yeah.
The second was have someone privately buy them and put it in one of those like public private spaces, like you could see it from their front yard, sort of situation. And then
also a very reasonable solution.
Spoiler alert: that's the one they wind up doing, actually.
Yeah.
And then third, no, nothing at all, which I would be. I'm the most fine with.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with like literally. Like, this is the point at which these people are not being persecuted in any way, and this is just a grievance this one family has, because this judge comes in and says 3 perfectly reasonable things, with just entirely like
the judge announces that she's on their side.
Yeah, the judge actually like says off the record, I think like, we got to put the Christ back in Christmas and you two are fighting the good fight, but like, we got to follow the law and respect the law because it's the country and we respect authority good.
Right. And as I pointed out to you, Charlie, in text, there's definitely other religions in this city. Probably most likely Russian Orthodox, because that's a pretty big religion in Alaska, which was once part of Russia.
That's true,
and
yeah.
The Orthodox Catholics have a very big issue with statues specifically. Paintings, okay.
Yeah.
Statues specifically, though, they're like, no. Like, there are other people.
It's just icons.
There are other people who are in this city who are like, you can't put those up. That's weird.
Yeah, well, and we're gonna get to this very shortly, but once the political scenes start happening of this guy running for mayor, it basically shows that like the liberal atheist from California is probably actually in the lead and like has a shitload
really
of support.
Popular.
He's
like,
very popular.
He campaigns among the townspeople, and they like him.
I think we're going to get to this next scene, so let's just move on to it there. I want to note before we leave the judge scene, they show the judge the statue of Mary or whatever, and I swear to God, it looks like the statue looks like she's been beat up or something. Her eyes are so puffy that they're barely open.
And she says they're beautiful.
It was a rough ride out to Bethlehem.
Yeah, and the judge just looks at it and says like, wow, these are so well made. And turns out they were donated by a wood carver who worked at a mill to the town, and they got to put it up because it's been like a tradition for like maybe 50 years.
Yeah, which another thing they try and angle at, but like kind of just drop for no reason, is like, oh yeah, no, these are historical parts of the town. They have historical value, so we can put them up in public space, It's so ass backwards. Like, these people want to be oppressed so bad.
Yeah. So the next scene we immediately go to, and I know we're running short on time, and we're only like 2/3 of the way through this movie. So let's do you have a little extra time, Bo?
Yeah. I mean,
as
the
long
end,
as we, like, wrap it up.
is nothing.
It's
so,
near. It's very near.
Well, and like once we get there, the end is just all right. That's a film.
Yeah, me with a sandwich board halfway through this podcast. The end is near. So we go to the next scene where literally the two guys are talking about how like it's really cool how one of them's wearing a Bright for Mayor sticker and the other guy's kind of talking himself into voting for Baldwin as well. So like. Yeah. They're basically talking about how, like, wow, this guy wants to bring in a whole bunch of tourism from cruise ships and we'd have a whole bunch of money and we'd be really well off compared to what we are now. Oh, shit. Also, bring in a bunch of, like, single old ladies and the two people from the beginning of the movie. That was so good. No, it was absolutely their character because we start off the movie with them thinking they are Statler and Waldorf fuckers. Yeah, and then they do a Statler and Waldorf by just being like, I want the single retirees.
Oh, also, in the credits, they are referred to as Statler and Waldorf.
Are they really?
Shit.
Yes.
What?
That's ridiculous.
At least on IMDb,
damn it.
they are.
No shit. That's upsetting. That's what they are. Damn it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
well, they got that's fine. That's actually funny. So yeah, basically there's a number of scenes which we can skip over some of them. It's just people talking about how like Baldwin actually wants to improve their material conditions by bringing in money and jobs and resources and people. And they're very excited about that. And gilfs, yeah. And the only thing that the current mayor has, which they specifically state, the only reason he wins is because no one opposes him because he
for the last couple elections. Yeah,
no one gives a shit because like his job is basically a nothing job that doesn't affect their lives. This guy comes in, promises to change things, and they're all like, "Woo, yeah." He appears to have a lot of support.
Shit.
And also, of note, up until this point in the movie, the entire town has sort of entered pure culture war, where tons of people have taken down Merry Christmas and put up Happy Holidays, and a bunch of people put up signs saying, "Where's the Christ in Christmas?" And none of this has been none of that was because of the court. They specifically said the court prohibited new displays from going up until they rule on this display. So everything that has happened in town in terms of like people going, oh yeah, we should be more inclusive, was entirely voluntary. So there hasn't even been government oppression in this movie, which is
there is not a culture war. There is a culture like minor disagreement.
Yes.
Right. It's not even that though, but it's like the government can't put up new decorations. You as a private business owner are fully allowed to do that.
And the private business owners choose, you're right, we should be more inclusive. That seems like a reasonable statement, which even the one guy, like the wimp
the Sam Hyde looking guy,
the cuck on the city council was like, maybe we should do it.
Sam absolutely Hyde. Gutless, that guy. Gutless, spineless, crotchless motherfucker.
Just like Sam
Yeah,
Hyde.
which goes to show you, if you promise to people to better their material conditions, they're gonna give a shit. And
They'll
if
march
the
for
only
ya.
thing you have is an entirely voluntary culture war, only for you and your
like
family,
a pretty personal family culture war. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
This is very like Montague and Capulet sort of.
yeah, he's gonna lose in a landslide in this election probably.
So the campaigning happens. Yeah, that is how the campaigning's going.
Yeah, we can skip a number of these scenes.
Yeah, we find out that Baldwin's house is empty. And so the two brothers decide to fly to, I'm assuming, Anchorage, because they fly to go to the law firm
The
that
big city.
Baldwin that Baldwin used to work for. We find out that he was fired for like bad investing.
Yeah, they said that he made an investment that caused him a lot of trouble and even lost him his job at our law firm. And I'm like, what were you doing? Like some sort of illegal insider trading? Like, what does that mean? How did you lose your job off of this?
Right.
Like,
Did
why
he
would that affect your
embezzle the
job?
money?
You're a lawyer.
Like, you're kind of expected to be scummy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what
The
did
bare minimum, at least.
Mitch was never anything but nice to me. He gave me a shot at a few cases a while back, and he helped me get on good track here. And all I know is that he ended up investing in something he shouldn't have.
They do not reveal what it was, but the guy who he used to work with, who was apparently like, I don't know, his paralegal or something at the time, just slides.
His assistant. Yeah.
His assistant slides just like a stack of hundreds across the table and says, I need you to give this to him.
Wad. Yeah.
Huge. Thousands of dollars in this pile. And they're like, give this to Baldwin. Tell him it's from an old friend.
Okay.
Don't ask why.
When you see him, you give him this. Just tell him it's from an old friend, or do it anonymously.
I don't think that we could.
No, please. I know it'll be hard for him to take it, but he needs it. He really helped me out a lot back then. I just want to help him.
Yeah, they introduce. Well, that's the thing. They introduce themselves as like, oh yeah, we went to high school with him.
Yeah, like there's no.
Yeah.
Like, they just basically say we know where he currently is, and he's like, here, take $5,000 to him.
It's so wild. What were they into? What are they into in Anchorage?
I know, right? It's just like there's such a huge like insider trading scam secret. Like we're defrauding the Alaskan state of its oil fund or something.
No. They're running drugs to pipeline workers. They're running drugs to pipeline workers and simultaneously like doing like Libby fake anti-pipeline demonstrations as like fucking as an op.
Yeah, and that's why Baldwin's house only has a couch, a cardboard box, and a bunch of firewood in it. Is because he sold everything in his house apparently.
All his like rich family's antiques.
All of his rich family's antiques after he did this weird scheme, whatever it is, which is never really addressed. It's just sort of hand waved away at the end, where they're now cut rate Rob Lowe, mayor, is walking around with just a wad of thousands of dollars that he's, I guess, supposed to maybe give to
normal shit
Baldwin. And believe you me, it takes a third of this movie for them to decide to do this, and we will continue reporting on this. This next scene, it's another table scene. I also did not count any of the scenes around Baldwin's box in the center of the room as table scenes. Those don't count. But I wanted them to. Honestly, if you count that chest in the living room and Baldwin's box, there's like 8 more fucking table scenes in this movie. So we're in the family's home now.
So it should be noted also, this is where I personally took a 20-minute break from the movie.
Really?
And then when I returned, after getting like some juice and I think like smoking a little bit more, I returned and put it on 1.5 times speed.
No, this is where I finished the dishes, and that's when the edible really kicked in, and I was like, I can't continue to watch this, and I watched it.
You missed nothing, Dennis. Yeah, we can blaze through the rest of this.
Wait, did you stop watching it after this?
No, I watched it 2 times speed because I was like, absolutely not.
There's we had the same idea.
There's this
apparently I'm the only one who did a real job.
Yeah,
no,
apparently.
There's this scene where I thought that the son was gonna come out as gay to his dad.
It looks like it, doesn't it? They're all sitting around the table playing Monopoly, and the kid looks like there's something heavy on his mind while wearing the gayest shirt you've ever seen.
No, this is when he's talking to his dad. No, this is when he's talking to his dad in the garage.
We're not there
that's
yet.
the scene that. No, yeah, we are.
No, we're not. We're at the scene where they're playing Monopoly.
No, I'm watching the movie as we're talking.
I am too. I'm not seeing the garage scene.
No,
Where's
after
the garage is
are we
after
watching-
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or okay. Oh, maybe it's just like tiny little clip. Well, either way.
You're having like weed time slips with this movie. No, okay.
No, I literally am like I literally just scrubbed through it. They stopped talking to the paralegal, and he's like, "Merry Christmas." Merry Christmas to you too. And
Wait,
then
did I
it
skip
goes
that?
to the garage.
Did we skip that?
Yeah, no. Yeah, we skipped the Monopoly. That was further up. Anyway, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah,
well,
this
okay.
is
I want to note something
A
about
testament to this movie being incomprehensible.
Okay, I need to mention something about the Monopoly scene.
Yeah.
Where okay, first of all, teenage boy sitting there looking the most femboy of the entire movie, like you were gonna be an impressively good TikToker at some point. Anyway, they're all sitting around playing Monopoly, just sort of they're doing a table scene. They're complaining about the previous set of circumstances where it's like, oh, well, basically this is where the daughter reveals his house is empty and there's nothing in it because I saw it, and they're all like, oh wow, there's more to this guy than we understood. It's the thing that triggers them to go to Anchorage, presumably.
Yeah.
Now the way they end the scene is to be like, mom does another deflection where she's like, let's just play the game or some shit. I don't remember. And they go back to rolling, and is it the wizard? Says,
It's the wizard. The wizard's there. He's conspicuous.
Yeah, so the wizard puts his hand around Femboy's son, looks at the Monopoly board and says, "Your roll, Donald Trump."
Oh yeah, because he bought the because he kept buying all the properties.
Yeah. They're literally using Donald Trump here as he's a businessman who loves making deals. He makes the best deals, and you're like him because you buy all the properties. And this was made in 2010. Like,
yeah, way ahead of its time.
Like, we stopped the movie here and checked. Are we? When was this made? And
it's
this
is
is just
and Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Yeah. Hey, I like that game because I get to beat the shit out of a Colorado senator in it, which
it's a great game.
Is a thing I would do.
Living a dream.
And it's a thing I want to do in Minecraft too.
Yeah. Another great game.
It's much easier in Minecraft.
So they fly his Cessna to Anchorage, etc., etc. They slide the money. Now we're in the garage.
Yeah.
I really just wanted to get the Donald Trump thing in there because it's like, oh shit, they just predicted why he would run and why he would do well with them is because they already think he's a cool, badass business hero.
They love him.
They love him.
So
they love him in this scene.
There's the gay, and then there's the gay garage scene where no one comes out. But we do learn that the mom is really nosy, and that's women.
Yeah, they're loading firewood into the back of their truck for a reason that we don't know what it is.
And then they're about to tan some hide on a wooden horse. What? I don't know what's going on.
This is just the barn where they do their crafts.
They get out. They load a bunch of firewood into the back of the truck for a reason that isn't explained. I think they just needed set dressing, and they bring out a sawhorse. At which point I asked, "Is a sawhorse a table?" Because they had to bring it out in order to have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, table talk.
But
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we get past that. It's Christmas. It's the Christmas ski tournament.
He's not gay. They hot iron his skis for some reason. I don't really know what you do with skis.
I don't know how skis work. So that could be valid.
They take a clothes iron to the skis. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a nonsense scene for nonsense people. Sorry, move on.
So the ski happens. The ski coach
and it takes a while too.
Yeah, the ski coach was like, "Hey, looks like Baldwin didn't show up with the cruise CEO. These kids are skiing poorly.
These kids suck at skiing.
I can't tell if they're doing green screen shots of the kids close up because the girl is here." This is the first time she's ever not wearing her hat, and you see that now her hair is basically just shaped like that. They just put a hat over it.
Yeah, these kids seem really underdressed to be skiing. I don't know a lot about skiing again, but they seem like.
But something tells me that the
this.
city doesn't want any lawsuits, and they're like, "You're required to wear helmets."
Yeah, well, she's got great hair. I want that hair.
Also,
I want my hair to be
injured her knee, presumably 30 minutes to a week earlier.
Oh no, she said during the Robin Williams scene that it was fine now. It's fine now. It's just fine now.
Right. Clearly they shot this scene before because of the snow falling, so they're like, "Oh, okay, well let's get this because that'll look great." And then they're like, oh wait, she was supposed to have a broken knee.
And then she just actually injured herself on screen, kind of like during the Robin Williams scene. He almost kicks a bowl of popcorn over, and then makes a joke about popcorn, and I'm like, that was not in the script.
Yeah, no, that's just him being a fucking whack job.
Yeah. So like, yeah, they do like a downhill ski race, but it's also a cross country ski race. It's
really intensely boring. They turn a race into something boring.
It's the Christmas with a capital C Cup or whatever the fuck they're doing. It's a town tradition.
That's it.
But
that's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, the cruise liner CEO ain't here, so they're just bummed. But oh, it's exciting. The kids are downhill skiing, and at one point, like they keep cutting between shots of like ski kid and girl ski kid. She's not wearing a helmet or goggles. Cody kid is wearing goggles. At one point,
he takes them off.
He takes them off his head. At which point, we wrote in our notes, "Luke, you've turned off your targeting computer. Is something wrong?" Because it is the exact. It is used for the exact same reason in this movie, which is this is sort of the point he decides he actually is going to give it his all and race her, but she wins anyway.
Yeah. Moral of the story is, let your scene GF win the ski race.
Yeah.
It's good. And then, as per the bet that they made at the beginning, he owes her a moose burger.
Yeah, which I didn't catch that at the beginning, so it seemed really weird, but also made sense, because, like, of course that's what these people bet on in this fucking town, is moose burgers.
Yeah. How many moose do they kill just to fuel their bets?
Hundreds.
So...
This city runs on blood.
Like, a lot of really boring nonsense happens between now and the end.
Yeah.
Where, like, the Baldwin kind of, like, apologizes to the brothers.
Well, yeah, so the
then
Baldwin
it's night
is...
again.
Yeah, it's nighttime.
No, the very next scene at the boat. This is an important scene for one reason, and I cannot skip it, okay? May I?
Right.
Okay.
There's one thing that happens. Baldwin walks up to them while they're, like, fucking around on the mayor's tour boat. And Baldwin walks up and says, "Yeah, sorry about the entire town's talking about my cruise ship deal getting canceled."
Yeah. All of a sudden, he's no longer king shit a fuck mountain.
Yeah, he says, I don't know why they canceled. Something about being with his family. It's Christmas Eve or something. He explicitly said, like, he's an atheist. He doesn't know when Christmas Eve is. And that's why the deal fell through. And spoiler alert, it will wind up not having fallen through. He will just be coming in January because he's taking the holiday for his kids. It was never
Which
canceled.
is how the holidays work.
Yes.
That's how the holidays work.
He's a terrible liberal atheist who doesn't know when Christmas is. He literally doesn't know when Christmas Eve is, and is like, I guess that's gotta be with his family for something called Christmas Eve. What the fuck?
Why is the CEO making a personal visit to the town?
Because they're freaks.
I don't know.
Like, he's presumably in Florida or something. Like he's not in Alaska.
He's probably just gonna like have the cruise ship drop. He's probably just on one of the ships all the time.
Actually, I think Alaska is like, the Alaska cruises are technically not even owned in America. I think they're like owned in like the Grenadines or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I assume everything.
Like
I assume everything
shit,
is chartered in either Bermuda or Ireland, right?
Yeah, or like Panama, I think, was another one of those countries that has like really lax laws with cruises.
Really lax boat-related laws.
Yeah. So that happens. They're in a church. Everything is very dark now.
It's nighttime. It's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. They're doing the pageant she was practicing for, which I guess is just on now.
Yeah, and it cuts between the pageant being set up and the lesser Baldwin like having Christmas withdrawals alone in his dark house.
Yeah, he's eating Doritos, what appears to be a takeout pizza. The Christmas cookies. Yeah, and
like the capital C Christmas cookies.
I can't tell what soda it is, but a can of some soda.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like you get the vibe that's his only soda he's ever had. I like the idea too. It's just like a can of wine. That's what Lesser Baldwin deserves.
Yeah. So yeah, Christmas pageant.
Christmas pageant. We see lonely Baldwin.
Girl.
The entire town shows up to do a housewarming because it can't be Christmas because he's an atheist.
Well, no, wait. There's something key here, which is they set up for the Christmas pageant. the daughter who is playing the angel in the Christmas pageant looks her father in the audience dead in the eyes, the mayor, and she winks at him, and he looks back and nods, and he gets up. He leaves the Christmas pageant. He won't see his daughter because she's the selfless one, and she knows that this means he needs to go see Mitch. He's got to go see him.
It's so weird.
Yeah, and
couldn't they do this like after?
Yeah, well, no, this is I don't know, because like he sits in his car. And from his jacket, he produces the envelope of like $5,000. Just kind of
he
sits
just presumably
there.
had on him.
He's been
Yeah,
carrying it around for days, and he's just looking at it like, ooh. When he kind of leafs through it, and like you can clearly see he's deciding whether or not to give it to them.
To just hold on to it. Yeah.
I mean, they need to buy more rock salt.
Yeah, he's literally like, okay, and here's the best part is, so yeah, like you said, now we're back at Baldwin's house. He's on his couch. He's under his covers. He's making the Grinch face. Yeah, he's making the Grinch face.
He's just barely hanging on for life, honestly.
Yeah, he's not doing well. But there's a knock at the door, and it's the mayor.
Hey, man.
Doing mayor
I'm real
shit.
sorry that your life's all fucked up and sad. Anyway, and then just the whole town. Well, no, his wife and the annoying kid, the daughter, filter out, and then the whole town follows them for a fucking Christmas home warming where they just they home invade.
Yeah, literally 20 seconds after Baldwin answers the door.
Yeah,
and the mayor does give him the money, which he has some throwaway line about how, like, I know who this is. This is the exact amount of money I lent this one guy I knew years ago. How'd you know where to find me? And instead of answering any of those questions, they turn, and in, like, the end of The Simpsons, where, like, they're in the courtroom, and then, like, fucking Otto busts in and says, hey, everyone surfs up, and then they just do, like, a surf scene. They just hear caroling in the background. Yeah,
it's like, nope, it's Christmas.
The entire town just floods in, which there's only two possibilities here. So the entire contents of that church come here.
That was the rest of the town. Yeah.
I thought that they were going to do the pageant here, but like you said, they just walk in and do like a housewarming party to say, hey, you don't have a lot of stuff, but we've got some stuff. A bunch of bodies in your house will make it warm because you don't have any heat and shit. And like, so there's only two possibilities here. Either A, they canceled the Christmas pageant to go do Christmas as an action instead, which actually would have been a satisfying scene for a Christmas movie. To, instead of performing Christmas, you do Christmas. But they don't show that. You just get, they all show up. Or what I think is more likely is once the mayor arrived at his home, he just like stopped like 2 blocks away and for like 3 hours just sat there counting the money, trying to think if he should give it to him or not, and then pulled up because they would have had to have left seconds after he did in order to show up 30 seconds after he arrives.
God.
I assume he was just agonizing to giving the money or something.
That must be what it was, yeah.
Yeah, so girl and wife show up with some Christmas poinsettias, and she does some more caroling that you can't have your ears hear.
It's not great.
No,
it's really
it's
not
not
good.
good.
They picked a kid that can't sing, and it's again, I reiterate, it feels mean to say that. It feels meaner that they put her in the movie.
Is there anything else you need?
No, I mean, why would I?
Joy to the world, the Lord has
What is that?
come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him move. And heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing.
Yeah, now it's
Who
tomorrow.
knows? Yep, they all hang out at Baldwin's. It's the next day. Go for it.
Yeah, so fucking Baldwin kind of shows up to just hang out with fucking what are the mayor and the wizard doing? I forget exactly.
They're setting up the nativity scene.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
They decided that they were going to purchase the nativity scene privately, and they're setting it up sort of in the main business strip in town next to the big Brown and Hawkins building, which is where they have like the Patagonia shop and shit now. So they're just setting it up on private property as private citizens now, and are having a good time with it. And, you know, you'd think, it's all resolved. No one's rights had to be violated. Cool. But go for it.
Is that my
it's one of your cues. Tell me what happened.
Yeah. because of the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of everyone showing up to his house in a coordinated manner, Baldwin's like, hey, I'm just going to drop this.
Yeah.
This isn't worth it.
Yeah, he hands...
I'm afraid of you people.
I believe he hands to the wizard a legal document that says he's dropped the suit against the town. And then he hands to the mayor, I believe what is they print out of an email or a text message that says, hey, my cruise line contact says he's sorry he missed the plane.
He'll show up eventually.
Well, he says he and all of his partners will come up after Christmas. And I'm like, yes, Polly. And everyone looked at me.
He and his partners,
yeah, liberal Californians. I think there's just like, for some, I guess they're just a legal team. I don't know what the fuck they're the CEO, they're a legal team.
That's what I had assumed.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I say they're Polly, and they have a business together. It's a cruise ship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then credits roll.
Well,
and this is where
no, they say. Well, no. One last thing.
Oh.
There's one final thing. They invite Baldwin to set up the nativity scene with him, and he says, "I wouldn't go that far." And he gets back in his car. Seconds later, he's like, "You know what?
You know what?
Huh? Oh, come on!
I'll help.
And he runs back and he does like a slide on the ice and throws his arms out and says, "I'll help you." And then they give it.
It's Christmas.
I want to get this line, which I'm going to cut in.
Oh yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
They hand Baldwin Mary and say, "Hey, here you go. Here's Mary." And Mitch meet Mary, and Mitch says, "We're together again."
Mitch, meet Mary.
We're together again.
That's a big lady. Take care of her.
She's a big lady. Take care of her.
See, I thought you were going to go for the "It's what makes America great" line.
Freedom of religion. It's what makes America great, right?
Amen, brother.
That's right.
That's what it was. Yeah. Ugh.
Then the credits roll, and we hear this awful stand-up and the awful song that
Yes.
The song was based off the stand-up, and the movie's based off of the song.
Yes. So the credits
That's
roll.
so sad.
And they play like a generic, like, jaunty Christmas tune from the movie. At which point, they play some of, what's this guy's name? Oh, what is this guy's name?
Like something Stein.
Yeah, Brad
Stein.
Stein doing his stand-up.
Where it gets like
his hair is so much worse.
Yeah, it gets a little anti-Semitic and a little homophobic too.
People used to say things like "Merry Christmas" to each other. Everybody said "Merry Christmas." Hey, Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Lowenstein. You know why? Because it wasn't about a religion. It was about something as a culture we thought was so valuable that we'd all do it together, even if I disagreed with the religion behind it, because it was good for all of us instead of just me.
Oh, that made my stomach turn.
Yeah, it's like
that's real rough.
Like he chose a very obviously Jewish name.
I don't like that. Yeah.
But yeah, and then he does the Robin Williams voice, but like gay. When he's like complaining about Happy Holidays or something.
Yeah, instead of whenever he says Happy Holidays, he does it in the Robin Williams gay voice.
So
love it.
Yeah, that was this movie. I found I think I found the saddest thing of this movie. So this is my take.
Okay.
I had to look up the character.
They are Statler and Waldorf in the credits. Jesus.
The character of Joe Diggs is played by a guy named Frank Delaney. He's the Sam Hyde looking motherfucker. I went to his
Joe Diggs. Okay.
I went to his website because he has a website. And I looked at his resume. It's not there, but you can download the PDF. Where I found out that he was in Cincy Shakes, which is a Cincinnati Shakespeare company, which means he is part McElroy because of that.
Oh no!
What?
One of the McElroys, Travis, actually famously was like in Cincy Shakes for a while.
Oh no!
And I think the saddest thing here is
conspiracy goes so
that,
deep
that there's an RSS feed. Like, why is there an RSS feed for his his personal
Get
website?
him on the pod.
Yeah. So,
all I can think now is like there's a very, very nearby parallel universe where Travis McElroy's in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than being like successful podcast boys, the McElroys are like awful, like Pureflix dudes.
Yeah. No, they're awful Pureflix dudes, and they basically this would have come out at a time where they would have played the children. of this family.
Yeah.
Because like they want the McElroys for the children. They want Mel Gibson for the mayor. They want Kirk Cameron for the wizard. Like these are usually the Pureflix cast you would expect for those roles.
Yeah.
The McElroys would have absolutely worked great as the kids. And they would have probably done a better job than these kids, but I actually kind of respect like I don't know. I kind of respect the scene love subplot where it's just like they just kind of like have emo haircuts and just kind of glance at each other and be like, why are you here? And they love each other.
Yep.
They're having a moose burger.
Yep. Frank Delaney's special skills include whip cracking, juggling, stilt walking, driver's license, motorcycle riding, Pillsbury Doughboy impression, as well as Irish, Scottish, Russian, German,
Pillsbury
Standard British,
Doughboy
Cockney,
impression.
and American accents.
I can see Pillsbury Doughboy impression.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
But God, Charlie, this was a film.
That was so good. That was so great. I'm gonna play the song. I'm gonna play a clip of the song around here just so they can during this so they can understand like the song it came from, which is.
God's got a law and we pretty much destroyed it. We're gonna get judged. There's no way to avoid it. Jesus came down to
It's familiar,
performed by,
but not too familiar. But not too familiar. I'm so
by
sorry.
the Christian band Go Fish, who I believe I described to you as a couple of Drew Carey show extras.
Yes,
who, I hate them. You're gonna see it. I don't know how. Yeah, this is quite a movie. It was really something. I picked it kind of out of nowhere, and then I was sold because it was based on a song, which was based on a bigoted stand-up routine. And it delivered exactly what I expected.
All movies, I will leave us with this. All movies, this is my final thought on this film and all film, and I will never speak of a movie again in my life.
Okay.
Thanks to this, all movies should be based on bigoted stand-up bits. Thank you, that's been it.
All right.
All right.
Really, I think there should just be more Seth MacFarlane movies.
Oh my God.
That's a harrowing prospect.
Now you're canceled. Jesus.
I'm like 3 degrees of canceled at this point.
So I think that this movie and what we've done really, I don't know, I think it really exemplifies the feeling of probably receiving this episode.
Yeah. I hated this movie.
Yeah, it really fucking sucked.
It was bad.
It wasn't good, but I gotta tell you, exploring the lore of this weird Robin Williams guy, all of the people in this are just such interesting people who shouldn't be alive. What can I say? It was crap. I got to watch it with 3 other people who I love, and
lucky you.
I assume you 2 got high and watched it alone. I'm sorry.
It was something. I'll tell you that much. It was something.
Yep.
Oof. Well, that was worth 10 pages of notes. God damn it.
God damn it.
All right.
Well, that's been our Patreon. I don't know what the plan is exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
But otherwise, we want to thank all of our patrons, who I don't have the list up in front of me right now. Oh my God, what am I doing?
All our Christmas friends.
Yeah. While we're waiting, I just want to point out that I just noticed on Kennedy's sheet, they wrote down, "This is a King of the Hill episode." Yeah, this movie was just a King of the Hill episode.
It's a King of the Hill episode with none of the charm. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. All right, so thank you for managing to get this far. You are a true comrade for sticking around all of that. Shout out to all of our patrons, especially Jorge, Tim, Alexander, the Warlock Phosphorus, Alex, Andrew, Conduit of Existential Dread of Fatherhood Itself, Broobs, Caleb, Eli, Jack, Julian, Julian, Knightley, Lizzie, Malwin, Olive Lotion, Wizard, Rufus, Not a Mole Rat, Samantha, Scott, Sophia, the Brilliant Dr. Fly, Tyler, the Reverend Law Gnome, Hollywood, Dylan, Julia, and Ryan.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you for this.
Check out all of our other Patreon stuff. You know, Dolphins Garage is a month early, usually. Sonic High School, a bunch of cool stuff. And
which I have promised will be coming out part 3 finally. Yeah,
please.
And you know, if you can't help us with Patreon, just make sure that you leave a comment and rate us wherever you listen, because that really helps out too.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your tell your small town Christian mayor that hates you and everyone hates his family. Tell your lesser Baldwin in from the big city. Hey there, pal. Have I got the podcast for you?
Mm-hmm.
If you know a scene girl who doesn't have much going on, maybe introduce her to a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So thanks everyone. We'll see you in the new year. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.